welcome once again. Well, tonight we are on JPBroadcasting, filling in for 3 Wide Television. Technical difficulties for Carlos tonight, but anyway, we're here for another night of OSCA Sportsman Series racing, and tonight we're at Long Beach Street Course, or Matthew, I believe we can call it that. Here for the Shark. Right. Yeah, I don't know if it's like, I was gonna say Speedway, but I think
it's Street Course.
And so yeah, we're here at Long Beach, and very interesting track, I gotta say, Matthew. It's a track that I think both of us very recently purchased, and the few laps I've turned on here tonight should be a pretty good show that we're looking for tonight. Some calamity corners that I expect to see some wild action on, and for a course that a lot of these drivers are not familiar with, we might see a new face here in Victory Lane tonight.
Well, I'm not going to get into detail with the viewers at home as to why I'm buying this track right now for a second time. Long story short, it's a very bad night for me financially, but for the drive, an unorthodox kind of track to take stock cars to, just a street course in general. And you know, I think with the Chicago street course and the hype that generated, and well, in OSCA, let's go to a street course, but maybe not the Chicago street course. How about something tried and true for other series, and let's see how stock cars do on it.
And there you see the fountain on the speedway. We're going to look at the point standings coming up here as well. Just very beautiful track that we have here at Long Beach. But yeah, one of the things that these guys hopefully don't have financial issues, as far as, you know, at least they don't have to pay for the cars week in and week out. And we do have some interesting playoff kind of things of note as we see the top 10 in the standings. Nick Indelicato still running away with the points lead, but there's guys that are on this chase bubble that really starting to kind of worry me that guys aren't in here tonight. I know Dustin Dewar not in, and he has Kynan Jones, who's on the outside looking in the playoffs. He's right now second in the leaderboard. So these guys that are missing the show tonight, I think right now we have 26 cars in the field here tonight. Some guys choosing to sit out here tonight, so that this could be a very big race for the chase implications, as I believe we only have just a couple races to go before that cutoff.
One more after tonight, Auto Club.
One more, okay, yeah. So Auto Club next week, and that's it.
Best approaching that mark is, and guys like Kynan Jones and Zach Evans and Alex Kitten all within 25 points of that cut line, needing good runs tonight. And as you said, Dustin Dewar, I mean, he's only 25 points up on the cut. He is absolutely on the hot seat there. And then you know, Chris Gutierrez 14th plus 38, Gilberto Javier Gomera plus 21 16th. There are 4 halves of action and lots of points to be swung around between this week and next week.
Yeah, it should be fun, and again, you have guys again too. Gilberto, a guy who's just above that cut line as well. That we've talked about him having bad luck all year, and I think he's even tweeted out today. He's surprised he's on the good end of the playoff chase standings right now. He's up right there, third in the practice speeds as we sit right now. He could have a good night to solidify it, or we've seen it all night. We've seen it. These guys, you can be running 5 good laps. You mess up once here, a lot of tight corners here at Long Beach, and a good night could go very bad with the slightest mistake. It should be a fun one to watch here tonight.
Yeah, especially with that first sector as practice comes to a close here. We start qualifying, especially with how tight that first sector is. And a whole note on the Gilberto thing. You said he tweeted how he's surprised he was on the good end. Sometimes that's a good thing when you consider how badly a season has gone for you in any sports discipline, and you look up and it's a lot better than you expected. Well, that's almost a good thing, because if it's gone this poorly, even if it goes decent, then, you know, things could look pretty good for you.
Yeah, I think for Gilberto, especially with the luck he's had, the only thing that could happen is, you know, especially if he gets into the chase, it could only mean good things for him from here on out. So we'll see. Maybe tonight is where that luck really turns around. And there we do see R.C. Enerson in the 72 tonight, filling in for Aaron Lineman. You'll see the number 50 on his car. A little late entry here for tonight's race for the Shark Designs 128. And so we'll see him out there. We've if you haven't really heard of him, he's races real life. He's ran some IndyCar events. I think he has a Cup start under his belt and also an Xfinity race under his belt as well. Road course expert. RC is not an acronym or shortened for road course. It's for Richard something. I can't remember his middle name, but expect him to be fast here tonight. Filling in a 3-pedal Mafia Toyota. We have Johnny Eckert out there tonight in the number 6 car, filling in for Zach Evans as well. So we got some sub drivers in this field as well.
You know, for Anderson's no stranger to league racing. I mean, he seems to pick around rides wherever he can get them, and he just loves racing in general. I've seen him probably in about 3 or 4 different leagues, and I'm sure plenty more than that. Is further than what I've seen.
Yeah, he's one. He loves competition, and he's usually on the better end of it as well. So we'll see how he ends up here tonight as these guys making their out laps right now. And I was gonna say, I believe Vic is gonna be kind of a proxy. He's gonna be the voice of Carlos tonight for our broadcast standings here. And I don't know if we're gonna wait, maybe see these guys turn a few laps before we make our picks, or do you kind of want to?
Yeah. Wait until after qualifying ends, right before doing the grid.
All right, sounds good. And I think we lost Matthew. Maybe he was so mad that we had to wait for the picks, Vic. He bailed out on us. But there we see Johnny Eckert now, and now Vic, I believe this is the now you decide to come back. I believe. Matthew? Well, we'll get Matthew squared away, but I believe Johnny Eckert in the 4th different ride, in the 4th different week now, being the new super sub here in the OSCA series. Matthew, you got a copy?
One moment.
Oh, okay. We're getting him figured out there. We see some cars making their laps. Kian Rally, who's again, we've seen him on road courses usually here, usually a force to be reckoned with. Kynan Jones, who's in the practices leading up to this. There's been a couple practices during the week to get drivers familiar with the course. He's been really quick all week long, and now we're getting to the moments to see where he can get it done in the feature here. And again, I don't think I even mentioned here, Matthew, as well. We'll get you, hopefully get squared away. 2 halves as per usual. Oh yeah, we can hear you.
All right, okay, well, that's good.
So Matthew, what I did forget to mention, we have 2 halves tonight. 32 laps for the first half and 33 laps for the second half. Only 2 cars inverting, so basically a no invert, more or less. So you know, for a lot of these guys, it's going to be try to get what you can, try to keep the car between the ditches, as they always said. NASCAR running on road courses. You know, keeping that car clean and getting that best start possible, because if you have a bad first half, you could be digging yourself a hole for half number 2 as well.
And that is not something you want to be doing, especially for those cut line guys. I mean, you know, guys up there in the top 5, even the top 10 in standings, fairly safe. You have a bad first half, you still have a decent cushion over that cut line. But if you have a bad half, if you're Gilberto, or I have such great memory, I can't even remember who else is around that cut line right now, above the cut line. But if you're one of those guys right on top of that cut line, you have a bad first half, you are already in a significantly worse situation. I mean, it doesn't take much for those guys outside the cut line to be right at your heels.
Yeah, you got Gomera, Dewar, right above it, Gutierrez as well. That's close. I think the only saving grace
Time to
right
do
now.
your picks. Time to do your
We're
picks.
gonna do the picks here too. Okay,
Yep.
so
Carlos hasn't said what his pick's gonna be yet.
oh boy, if worst case, we'll get you to fill in. So if you want,
We'll do Matt first then.
all right, all right, go for it, Matt.
Oh, Carlos is typing.
Hello?
Ooh.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah. Yep.
He picks Anderson, so.
Oh man.
Carlos is picking Anderson. There you go.
Carlos is picking Anderson? All right.
Yep.
I'm going to go Kian Raleigh.
Oh boy. Well, I guess I got to go with what's left. We're gonna go with Johnny Eckert, old 3-time in the in the field here, and then a 6-car be fine. It's going to be great tonight. But with that, we'll go with the drivers starting lineup here for the Shark Designs 128. And again, on the pole is RC Anderson in that in the 3-pedal Mafia Toyota, and he is running out of Newport Richey, Florida, and alongside him is Kian Raleigh in that Shift Esports Ford, and he's out of Highlands Heights, Kentucky.
Starting third place, the number 73 In-Law Racing from Australia, the Land Shark, Kynan Jones, and tonight's race sponsor for the Shark Designs 128. Tis outside, filling in for Zach Evans, number 6, Johnny Eckert for Wally Racing from Long Island, New York.
And in the 5th position in the 91 is Cooper Johnson running for Beers Motorsports. He's out of South St. Paul, Minnesota, and alongside him in that 18 is DJ Weeks for In-Law Racing, and he's out of Virginia Beach, Virginia.
In the 00 Weekend Woodsman Chevrolet from Halifax, Nova Scotia, starting 7th place is Caden Tufts. Tis outside, starting 8th, the number 14 Weekend Woodsman Chevrolet from Wyoming. It's Alex Kenton.
In the 9th position is Dallas Myhand running in a Shift Esports Ford, and he's from Struthers, Ohio. And alongside him in 10th is John Lynch, and he is running for In-Law Racing in a Chevrolet from Yulee, Florida.
Starting 11th place here, just outside the top 10, in the number 12 South Shore Racing Chevrolet from Bakersfield, California. It's Damian Leininger. Tis outside is Adam Tepe driving the number 96 South Shore Racing Chevrolet from South Bend, Indiana.
And in the 13th position in the number 21 6415 Racing Toyota running out of Hollowbrook, New York, it's Thomas Capuano. And alongside him, filling in for Ray Bracey, it's Nathaniel Cherry in the number 80 Wally Racing Ford, and he's from Alberta, Canada.
Starting in the 15th spot today, the number 89 Mountain Type Motorsport Chevrolet from Dorr, Michigan. It's Brent Jones. Tis outside, it is Adam Peeler driving the number 13 Nurse Aviator Racing Chevrolet from South Carolina.
And starting in the 17th position is the Rocket Man, Seth Rawls, in his number 25 Shift Esports Ford, and he's running out of Peabody, Massachusetts. And alongside him, it's his teammate. It's Ty McIntosh in his S2 Racing team, sister team, Ford, and he's out of Asheville, North Carolina.
Starting 19th tonight is David Carpenter, the number 71 3-pedal Mafia Toyota from New Jersey. Tis outside is the series points leader, Nick Indelicato, starting back in 20th. The number 4 Shift Esports Ford Mustang from Syracuse, New York.
In the 21st position is Timothy Conrad in his number 35 Weekends Woodsman Chevy, and he's running out of Ohio. And alongside him, one of those guys in that cutoff position in the playoffs, it's Chris Gutierrez in his number 16 Nurse Aviator Racing Chevy, and he's running out of Kansas.
Bringing up 23rd in row 12, it's Vincent Isabella in the number 83 Beers Motorsports Toyota from Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. Tis outside, also right on top of that cut line, in the number 99 S2 Racing Team Ford Mustang from Massachusetts, it's Gilberto Javier Gomera.
And just joining the session here a little late on the later end, but he's in the field here, starting in the 25th position in that number 44 6415 Racing Toyota out of Buffalo, New York. It's Zach Skotnicki. And rounding out the field in his number 39 Mountain Type Motorsports Chevy is Jordan Tarbell, and he's racing out of Thomasville, North Carolina. So now, also we got to make a point here tonight. As you see the cars sitting on the grid, we are at a standing start here tonight, folks. So once we get going, it's going green, and we are going green here in a hurry. So it's and can't jump. Otherwise you'll get the black flag. So 26 cars, 32 laps. Oh, it's gonna be fun, Matthew. Are you ready?
Yeah, I am absolutely ready.
Here we go.
Yeah, there we go. Wow, all right. I didn't think they were starting already. Kynan Jones with a great start, already looking to shoot up the inside. I don't know if he's gonna try and take it 3 wide this early though.
This is gonna be hard going into turn number 1. It's gonna be tight, but it looks like Kean is on the outside. He's gonna try to get a jump on the outside. Kean will take the lead. Kynan and Eckert get together. Oh man, there was a little contact going into the turns. I think they were able to get it sorted out, but that's going to be a calamity corner. I think we're going to see that all night, Matthew. It's going to be hard going too wide in that corner.
I could already see some guys trying to go too wide there. I think that might have been Tufts and Kenton. One of them dipping into the flowers there, running over the greenery there. But it looks like, from what I can tell, no disasters quite yet. Yeah, some contact. Everybody seems to be minding their P's and Q's early on here. It's a long two halves of racing tonight. Lots of twisting and turns and tight corners. No reason to be over aggressive now.
Yeah, and it's sometimes it will fool you. You see how wide a lot of these straightaways are. And then once you hit this corner, RC's going to take a peek here going into the next right-hander. No, I don't think he's going to do anything yet. And this is, I think I got to remember where I'm at the course here, but we're going to get close to the hairpin. I know we're close now. Right here it is.
Here
the
you
hairpin. And there we are. Now we're going to hammer down, go down the straightaway, getting close to the start-finish line to complete lap number 1. RC's there. This is right now. It's going to be shaping up to be a good battle between Kian and RC.
Yeah, and Kynan Jones and Johnny Eckert have fallen back quite a bit there, but they've also got a gap of their own on the field. You would say it's the top 2 pulling away. Really, it's the top 4 pulling away early on here. The top 2 are just a little bit better than 3rd and 4th place, but these 2 guys are probably going to be nose to tail. Every time we have RC Anderson or Kian Riley here in a race on a broadcast, these are 2 guys that are always up at the front. No different tonight.
Yeah, and they are looking almost identical lap times. And I think one thing we'll see for sure out of these top 2, and I think from a lot of these guys running in, especially in the top 10, is how smooth that these guys are going to look out on the racetrack. You see the weight shifting quite a bit just from all the sharp corners and the transitions from being on a flat surface. And there you see Johnny Eckert taking over that 3rd spot. But the guys who I think will be good on the long run, as I think we say anytime we go to the road course, Matthew, is those guys that just run it smooth, have that good race pace, and don't kick that car out too much and wear out those tires.
And I don't know if you remember, who looked really good was Kian back at Spa. He was leading that race, and he was looking really good on the long run and short run before he got that pit penalty. And of course, that pit penalty also ruined his second half too, having to start further in the back. So a cautionless road course race for Kian is good, and I can say cautionless is working out great for Seth Rawls here, as he's 12th now, already up 5 spots here in the opening few laps.
Yeah, he's bringing that Rocket Man nickname to life right now, as he's trying to chase down Nathaniel Cherry in that 80 car red ahead of him. You know, he could be in the top 10 in just a few moments. DJ Weeks, you see him, he's dropped quite a few spots, I believe 7 spots already in the race. I believe we already have a car on pit road as well. Jordan Tarble, he might have been a start and park guy tonight. I think a lot of these guys might have been just getting their starts, parking it, because track's been a very familiar for a lot of these folks. But one thing I will say, it's a fun track to learn. It's interesting. It's a cool one, but once you get in a crowd, it can be a whole different ball game. But right now, these boys are keeping it clean and racing smooth.
Yeah, and that isn't entirely shocking. Hang on, you're gonna have to carry this for just a second. My session's finally loaded. Things are about to get ugly on my end.
Okay, we'll get you all sorted out. Again, see, not the only one who just purchased the track tonight. There you see the 86 car of John Lynch, and he is currently running in that 5th spot. He's got a lot of cars right behind him. Alex Kenton, Caden Tufts. Right now, John Lynch battling in that 5th position, I believe. He started in the 10th position, so he's moved up quite a bit as well. So he's looking pretty stout early on here in the going of this one. Nick Indelicato, who didn't qualify, and right now
started back in 20th, I think.
Yeah, and 6 places in the 14th position. And he's trying to chase down DJ Weeks. Oh, Damien around.
Ooh, that is not a good spot to be stopped. I know it probably wasn't intentional on his end.
Yeah, that's kind of missing the corner there. Maybe got on. Maybe it's Carlos. If we don't have Carlos, then we too much beans off the off that kind of that right around that fountain, that little curl. there, as now we see Seth Rawls battling Nathaniel Cherry for that 11th spot. I think normally, isn't Nathaniel kind of a member of the Shift Esports umbrella, so kind of teammates, but not tonight.
No, yeah, Nathaniel is, I don't remember. Yeah, Seth kind of did it a couple seasons ago. Nathaniel's usually in our brigade. Oops, biased. Nathaniel is usually there it is. Nathaniel's usually in the Shift Esports brigade doing races for us, but for us, I can't help myself. But it's always good to just get the track time whenever you can, and he performs pretty well here in OSCA. So 80 cars open, as long as it's not. You know, the big thing was doing races for the real close guys in the team points, especially when Outlaw was racing at OSCA a couple of seasons ago. And Seth wanted to do some fill-ins, and he was like, "Oh, well, what about the Outlaw car?" We were like, "No, stay away! Don't fill in for those guys." But yeah, no, it's always good. It's always good, you know. Guys are tied to a team, and that doesn't mean you got to race for that team. You can race wherever you want as long as you can get a seat.
Yeah, and he's currently getting a seat, making the most of it. Currently sitting in the top 10 right now in that 10th position. Back up front, we still see Kian out in the lead. He's kind of pulled away from RC a little bit, but look, we got a new player in the game here. It's Johnny Eckert. He's caught right to RC's bumper.
Me fine car, looking pretty fine here already. Taking a little bit of a wider line through there, but yeah, he's caught right up to this pack here. Got a little bit of a lead trio, and then see Kynan Jones off in the distance, and Jones kind of back there really just running his own laps. 6 seconds behind the front runners and 6 seconds ahead of the entire rest of the field. I kind of like being where Kynan is, and no man's land, just kind of running your own laps, nothing to really worry about. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and there it is, the announcer's jinx. It's a jinx. It's like almost it's slaying the queen. It's kind of what it's like. I'm not gonna lie, I was told to say that, Matthew, by my nephew. I think he's watching here tonight. So hi, Max. Yeah, he's happy he got to say that. I didn't want. Kian's not happy I said that, and I didn't know how to bring it up organically, but there it was. And Kian, he definitely has that pace to catch up, but it just goes to show that was right around that first corner, and that's where the calamity is going to happen all night. And it doesn't take a lot to screw up going into that corner number one. We've seen it from our leader, Kian Raleigh, who's now fallen back to third place.
And you know, it looked like that was on the entry of the corner. It looked like he overcooked it, starting to lose some grip in these tires, and maybe not just on the braking. You saw as we were watching this little pack here, these guys are starting to fishtail it a little bit. The grip is going away, especially on these rear tires.
Yeah, it's getting harder.
They're drifting. Oh my goodness.
John Lynch, they were able to save it. Wow, that could have been a lot worse, and that was a part of the track. Well, most of these corners are ones where you can clog that corner up pretty quickly, and that's the only way I think we'll see yellows tonight, is if we do have a track blockage, and that could have been a way we would have flirted with it, but be able to keep it going, keep racing. And how about a run for Alex Kenton here? He needs a good run to get into the chase, and right now running top 5 here at Long Beach, and running smooth right behind him, Caden Tufts, who's having a pretty smooth run going so far as well.
Man, I'll say it, at the rate this is going, that playoff cut line with Kenton and Jones both running top 5 right now. Chris Gutierrez nowhere to be seen, and obviously we don't even have Dusty tonight. The guys that are 20 plus on the cut aren't running well or aren't running at all. The guys 20 plus below the cut are running extremely well. So it's going to be pretty razor thin the way things are going right now.
It's going to make next week at California just that much more interesting. And I think no matter where we see Caden run at, he makes it interesting. He's always kicking that thing out. He's thinking he's at a dirt track, but he's still hanging on to that 6th spot. And that battle up front between RC and Eckert, still pretty close. Johnny's keeping RC within arm's reach for the moment. And again, right here, we're going to be going into turn 1. Let's see if everyone gets through here smooth. This is where if you're Johnny, you might try to push it a little bit too hard. Oh, and he did!
Oh, he pancaked pegged it into the barriers. He got it back going pretty quickly, but that's got to be significant. I would think worst case scenario there is he's losing some horsepowers on that one.
Yeah, he did kind of hip check it with the right rear, but that definitely could cause some serious damage in that race car, and able to keep rolling. Holds on to that second spot for now, but RC pulling away, and Kian is going to probably be closing that gap. Cosmetically, it doesn't look too damaged right now, Matthew, but like you said, that car's got to be hurting a little bit.
Yeah, and I know these are not rear or mid-engine race cars, obviously, but it seems like if you do hit the side of the car enough, further up towards the front of the car enough, you do receive engine damage. And it wasn't quite on that wheel, but I think there was enough of a door contact there to where that damage might be internally significant. Of course, time will tell if he starts to drop back. And these guys are really starting to struggle with these things.
He's moving up through the field, but right now he's struggling to hold on to that 7th position. He's going to lose at least 7th to Dallas Mayan, who almost cooks the corner on the outside. Kind of went into the corner, I think not how he was expecting, but these battles here, from about 7th on back, 7th to about where Cooper Johnson's running 15th, it's a gaggle right now.
Absolute hornet's nest of race cars between these 10 guys here, and look who's coming up to the field here. Nick Delicado breaking his way in the top 10 up through the hairpin back there, probably looking for 8th on Capiano here. Now he's probably going to be going for the pass here. You have to be careful because we've already seen 2 of our leaders whip it into the outside wall here, being too overzealous. It looks like despite that everybody's going to get through here okay, but from what I can tell, nobody is safe anywhere. You are subject to the harsh racetrack and the tight quarters no matter where you are.
Yeah, one thing I'll say by limited laps here, in the strictly stock race of the prelim race before tonight, Vic was kind of giving me a few pointers on the racetrack, and it did not take long, at least for me and my limited road course talent, where I had to back those corners up, and now we're about 12 laps into half number one. Oh, John Lynch getting in the back of Capuano there. Woo-hoo. Able to keep it straight, but yeah, it doesn't take long for these cars to handle a little bit different. Again, there's no banking, there's no real elevation on this track either, so you got to hit these corners about perfectly. There's nothing saving you.
Oh, and they're fighting the heck out of it too. I mean, the big bulky race cars on the tight street course, mostly tight corners, they don't want to turn. And when they're pushing and don't want to turn, they don't want to get off the corner either. Then you're having to correct it because you're trying to give it gas and it just wants to spin out. After doing nearly 70 laps of this over the course of the next hour and a half, even though as sim racers we get to have our AC and our water bottle next to us, they're going to be sweating. They are going to be tired because you better believe every single corner they are working.
No, we lost Matthew. And right now, we'll wait till Matthew gets back. RC still holding on to that lead. And there you see Johnny Eckert, despite that damage, as we see just a few moments ago, still holding on to that second spot. But Kian is definitely closing in on Johnny Eckert. We do see a couple of lap cars they're having to deal with. I guess I never looked at how long this course was, Matthew. Hopefully we got you back here.
It took about 3 tries, but I was able to join the session, and it closed out Discord, but we are all finally squared away.
Woo, we're good. So maybe you can see how long.
Oh, Capuano's spinning.
Oh no. Well, Capuano around, and we've seen he was on razor's edge. He's gonna fall back into the 15th spot. Yeah, maybe take a replay if we can.
I think getting back to the gas, probably he looped it. You'll see here.
Here's the replay of it.
Oh no.
Ooh, too much rear braking.
Yep.
Nice, able to spin around and kind of get out of the way of the other competitor and keep on rolling. It's a relatively beautiful spin, but just I think he even said it over the driver's shed. He burnt those tires up.
Oh yeah, he was really, really, really starting to move his way up through the field, and then he kind of hit that point to where he used up all of his rear tire and didn't have any left. I'm not going to speak too much on other incidents, but I do know Zach Scott Nicky is crawling around the racetrack without a hood. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if we'll find that incident, but just an update on him. and we might have a battle for second.
Yeah, Kian, as he was right there for a while, he looks like he is faster at this moment of the race. And oh boy, it's got to be so hard to set up a pass here. Oh, Johnny!
He's still drifting. Still drifting.
I think Keegan right now definitely has the heart rate up of the old
Oh my goodness.
three-time champ Johnny Eckert.
I think Kian might have actually gotten a better run off that tighter angle around the corner. He's gonna complete this pass here.
Yep, he won the drag race down the front stretch.
You can see Eckert's tail kicking out just through that shallow right-hander. Johnny has driven the rear wheels off this thing, it looks like.
Yeah, and I think it's the same thing, similar. Ooh, he looks like he got a little tail nap here. Oh boy. See, and you got to wonder. I didn't really talk to any of these drivers about how long you could run on fuel, and we're only 10 laps in, so it's
23 to 25 laps.
Well, we're gonna have a pit stop.
25. Oh yeah, we're gonna have a pit stop, but when do you want to take that? You don't want to take it now because you're gonna be in the same boat towards the end of the race. And some of these guys, we're talking about another, 4 or 5 laps or so before they can maybe even entertain coming down pit road and getting fresh rubber.
I cut it in half, honestly. I mean, this is already difficult track conditions. You don't want to run on this set of tires another lap longer than you absolutely need to, but you don't want to pit early because then you don't want to run more laps on the second set of tires. I mean, maybe you could short pit by a lap or two, but doing anything outrageous is just going to make life hard on you. The easiest way is to cut it down the middle, but if you really want to, like, say if you're Kian, I mean, what does the lap time fall off? They were sitting down 124s qualifying, we're in the 26s, dipping into the 27s. If he wanted to short pit by a few laps, he might be able to jump ahead of RC, but he'd be playing defense for the rest of the race on older tires. It depends on your situation, but to make a long story short, cut the race in half.
Yeah, I think that's generally what these guys are going to do. Maybe if you save tires a little bit here at the moment, you could maybe stretch it out a lap or two. But I think in general, the pitting in half. Ooh, Cooper, I think, sideways off of the final corner there. And to note, I think he lost his front nose there early on in the going. Just a little bit, yep. He was thinking, man, his car was getting a little too hot. They're in California here. Right? Long Beach is California? I hope so. Oh,
yes.
Okay, thank you.
This is Alaska, actually.
Yeah, palm trees gave Alaska away on that one.
I do want to make note of this real quick.
Yeah.
I noticed our guy Nick Delicado there running in 6th place, now 5th place, as Caden Tufts has actually spun it around. He's got it back going. And Delicado, in terms of lap times, is the fastest car on track, and I do mean also RC Anderson. He's beating RC consistently by about half a second a lap, and Kian and Johnny Eckert there by about a full second a lap. So 24 seconds back from our leader. I don't know if he's got enough time to win the race. I mean, it'll be close, but that 4 car is making some serious ground.
Now, with the laps he's running on these older tires, does that give him a little leeway if he does maybe even want to pit early or later?
Absolutely, it does. I mean, you could pit a little bit later. If you're outrunning the cars in front of you on the old tires, you have absolutely no reason to come pit or stay come pit. And he's running a pace solid enough to where if he has to wait, he can wait. He'll just be faster when they're all on the same set of tires again. So it's certainly good. Saving early in the run, and then I say saving early in the run. Look, he's up 15 spots. So it definitely, the whole tire management thing, aside from just being able to manage it for the long run, it gives you leverage when it comes to pit strategy. And he's not losing time right now, he's gaining time, and when they come take tires, he'll be still gaining time. It's just, does he have enough laps to pull it off?
Ooh, we have Johnny Eckert here, who's fallen into the clutches of Kynan Jones, and
he's drifted into the clutches of Kynan Jones.
Yeah, he's drifted, and I think we do see even some more damage to the car of that 6 of Johnny Eckert. We see just a little bit worse there, kind of trying to see if he can set up that pass, but that's one. Oh boy!
Oh my goodness!
Almost opposite of what we've seen from Johnny Eckert here, just sliding around for the past several laps. When we were watching Nick Delicado earlier, oh boy,
he's drifting.
We
Every
didn't
corner.
see any of that. We seen a little kick out there for Kynan. He's running definitely a great race as well. But the one thing I really like what I'm seeing out of that 4-car in Delicato is that he is running smooth, and you rarely see that car kick out at all.
Yeah, and Nick will tell you if you ask him for help on anything, he's going to tell you every single track, no matter where we go, it's all throttle control. It's all how you can pedal it. And as we talk about lap times, the only driver on the racetrack that ran a 26, he was actually a full second quicker than RC that time. And you know, for that matter, Kian has also been a bit quicker than RC Anderson. Despite his little spin, Kian is starting to close the gap there to our race leader. It's not close yet, but he's getting there, as Kynan Jones still is furiously working on Johnny Eckert for third.
Yeah, really trying to work his way around. Just can't quite set up that pass. But, oh boy. And again, for Kynan, who's right on the outside looking in, he can't really.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
Johnny! Oh boy,
Johnny
See,
is.
he is hanging on for dear life.
I think he's finally. I don't know how much more he's got. I think at this point he's just going to tuck in behind
Yep.
Kynan Jones before he does any more damage to his own race car.
I mean, when you have those shark teeth here, especially when you're in the Shark Designs 128, and you see those shark teeth come, it's got to be like Jaws. Dun-dun, dun-dun.
Especially when you're drifting around every corner. I mean, this is
Yeah.
usually it's like, what corners are they drifting in? No, for Johnny, as Johnny comes to pit road with the leaders, for Eckert here, it's what corners is he not drifting? Because he is sliding in every corner and pitting now. I'm sure he's going to appreciate that fresh rubber.
Yeah, with the top two coming down pit road as well. Kynan Jones now your leader, the Land Shark, and yeah, he's looking pretty stout here. But he's got right behind him, just about 5 seconds back, is Nick Indelicato. And again, that throttle control that you're talking about still looking strong. And even last lap, he was still at a 127. So now if you're Nick, do you come in this time by, or Kynan for that matter, do you come in next time by, or maybe do you try to stretch it out a lap or two?
It's hard to say. You know, even though he was running well on those tires, he's got to keep up. He has to keep up in terms of tire strategy. He's got to stay on the same set, and it's not going to hurt him that bad, especially as I heard RC and Kian chatting. Both of them slid too far to one side of their box and then backed it up, and it took them about 5 or 6 seconds to get adjusted into their pit boxes. So if Nick can pit now and have a clean box entry, a huge opportunity to pounce on a mistake there.
Yeah, and especially if even for Johnny Eckert to get a little bit of that that gap back, and then for Kynan Jones, if we do see him come down pit road, which I don't know if we will. Oh, Kynan's in. Kynan is in. We'll see if Indelicato follows him.
He does.
Down pit road, and he does. So to see how cleanly they can get on or in their pit box, especially with Indelicato, how fast he's been running. It'll be important for both of these guys who are currently sitting first and second. Look like a pretty clean entry.
Yeah, neither of them. Both Kynan and Indelicato will be major beneficiaries here on this pit cycle, because I watched like a 6-point turn adjustment for both RC and Kian to get themselves in their box, and they will both be on 1 lap fresher tires for the rest of the race. Not a huge difference, but we'll see how it all evens out.
And we'll see how it evens out. The other thing right now is going through traffic for RC and for Kian. And I believe, do we have Kynan and Indelicato rejoining the racetrack? We'll see how everything kind of squares away. But they definitely, I think they closed up some time on our leaders, especially with those fresher tires, as you say. This could be a fun one for the last 16 laps.
Yeah, and you know, right now I'm trying to see I'm wondering if I can compare the lap times. It looks like RC was slightly faster than Kian. He was about 0.6 quicker on that out lap. I don't know which lap the pit stop falls on, though. Is it the in lap or the out lap? That's me thinking out loud.
I think it'd be the out lap, just by where it depends on where you pit.
Yeah,
That's
you're
good.
right.
Out lap, yeah. I think we're thinking out lap here, and
It's out lap. Yep, for both.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I can compare them. All right, great.
yeah. So,
Yep.
wow. 7 seconds quicker? Wow.
That
So
is a huge gap.
Huge gap closed. And the other thing, especially if you're Johnny Eckert as well, who's he's still got that significant gap back to Kian. On this set of tires, hopefully he learned what he kind of the wrongdoings, I guess, on that first stint, and hopefully he can save those tires for the last 15 laps here. Otherwise, in about 5 or 6 laps or so, he could be in for a fun time.
Oh yeah, he better hope so, because I mean, he short pitted a little bit on Kynan, so he's gonna be facing some pressure from that 73 car soon, because Kynan, as we saw, did a pretty excellent job. Kynan actually is the one guy in the top 5 without a scratch on his race car. Kynan has done a superb job so far managing his equipment in his race car, so you better believe he will catch up to Eckert eventually. So Johnny's got to save all he can.
Yeah, he's got to save everything he can, and I'm watching Seth Rawls. I believe he has come down pit road as well. Trying to look here.
We're still waiting on at least Cooper Johnson and Damian Leininger.
And Leininger and I think Caden Tufts might be the other one that hasn't pitted yet? Or is my thing might be Leininger. Cooper is going into pits now. He was running in that 3rd position. So I believe
Damian,
it says he
might,
pitted
he
on my
might be
thing.
on his outlap. He might be on his outlap, I think.
Okay.
All right then. I think
So
we're all good then.
I think we're all cycled through here, and Seth Rawls continuing to move up the field as well. He'll cycle through in about the 6th position, and for as good of a race as Kynan's running, he has now fallen into the clutches of Indelicato. This is going to be a battle for that 4th position. Actually, right now it's not even cycled through. It's looking live at it right now, and again, where I know if you're Kynan, you want to be, heck, you were almost battling for a podium spot earlier for these for the pits, but especially where you're at in the chase standings, just maybe hanging on and not putting up too much of a fight to capitalize on it points wise might have to be key for him.
Oh yeah, true. But at the same time, whenever it's time for the playoffs and whenever everybody gets onto the even playing field, he's gonna be on par with Nick Indelicato. In 2 weeks, this battle they're having right now, if they were having this battle 2 weeks from now, he would be fiercely defending this position at all costs, because he's gonna need every point he can get if he wants to be a threat for the championship come playoff time. So yes, I think there is a level of don't race too aggressively, because you're not necessarily racing this guy right now, but you could be racing him in a few weeks, and it would be nice to let him know that you're no pushover.
Yeah, that's something too. That's something you really got to stand your ground. And right now, I think he's doing a good job, not just giving up that position, holding it smooth as well. We're not seeing too much slide from that 73 of Kynan Jones, and currently holding on to that 4th spot. But Indelicato certainly going to keep knocking on the door there. And just to note, the leader still R.C. Peterson. I believe he's got a lead by 1.7 seconds over Kian Raleigh in that 2nd spot. And in spite of their pit stop woes, they were able to hang on to that lead and still looking in pretty good shape for these last 13 laps.
Yeah, and both, Johnny and Kynan and Nick all did close out about 5 or 6 seconds. But the facts are that 72 and 11 car up front are faster than the 3rd and 4th place cars. And even if Nick Indelicato is on the same pace as our leaders, he has traffic to work through. So barring disaster from RC or Kian, it's going to be a 2-horse race from them, as long as they don't take each other out or take themselves out. And the rest of the field, a little bit more of a toss-up here. But I certainly look forward to getting everything re-racked here now that we've got Seth, Nick, and Kynan, and RC, all the guys that are running towards the front of the field here. They're going to re-rack them and put them all on top of each other in half 2.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the top 5 last lap here, and Kian fastest on the racetrack by over half a second over R.C. Peterson, and the rest of the top 5 pretty similar in lap times. Johnny Eckert maybe a little bit. He's about a second off of everyone else, but Kynan, Nick, and RC running pretty similar lap time last time by.
The only thing that scares me about Kian is we saw what happened to both Kian and Johnny at about 4 or 5 laps into their run, right? Rear tires got out from under them and they slid into that turn 1 barrier. Kian has got to be pushing harder than RC right now to make up that ground. It's crazy. You push, and it feels good, and the tires are grippy until they aren't. So you know he's chasing that leader right now. Kian is not in any danger of missing these playoffs. You know he's chasing RC and going for that win. I'm worried that he could fall victim again to possibly chasing too hard, because it creeps up on you, especially with how heavy this braking zone is, bringing it down from 160 and crawling all the way down to like 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, and it's currently you got to be careful, and otherwise you could end up in trouble. And in fact, we do have a driver, Ty McIntosh, who was looking good early on in the going. We'll bring him in. He's coming out of the infield care center. Ty McIntosh, might have missed what happened to you, but can you go through how your night kind of went here, half number 1?
Speed-wise, I felt pretty good. Our 10 machine we didn't qualify well. I think myself, Nick, and Seth all did something really bad in qualifying, but we started to work through the field pretty well. We were literally just getting into the top 10, and then on the straightaway, John got a little loose, John Lynch, and unfortunately, with how it being a street course, there's not really anywhere to go, so when he hit the wall, he kind of parked right in the middle, and I had nowhere to go, so it's unfortunate, but this is the first time in a while that I've been in here because of the crash, so I'll take it. Yeah, it's just learned a lot. I mean, I feel like I'm not a road course guy, but this is probably the most fun I've had in an Xfinity car on a road course. Like, Spa was good, but this is just ridiculous, and I hope that it's a good show for you guys, because this is insane.
Yeah, I was just saying too. It was especially me not being a road course guy at all. I'm barely an oval guy, but this has been one of the more fun road courses that I've been on, especially being very unorthodox for a stock car. It's a pretty fun course to drive, and yeah, great show being put on here so far here tonight. But I got to ask you, what's your strategy right now? You're sitting in the 20th position. What's kind of your plan here for half number 2? How do you attack this road course starting kind of towards the back?
I certainly learned that there's a couple places where I was making mistakes in the race because I was trying to push too hard. I just need to be smooth and try to let everybody else make mistakes and just take the good side of those. But it's really hard because you see guys in front of you, especially the final corner. That thing is just. If it was not there, I would love this track completely. It is so scary. Like I feel like I'm in a freaking horror movie every time I go to that corner because you never know what's going to happen, especially when you're in a chain. So avoid that corner at all costs. Not be on top of anybody, but just be smooth, be calm. Yeah, I mean that's really all you can do. This place is wicked.
Yeah, wicked it is indeed. Well, best of luck to you in half number 2, Ty, and. Are you done for half number 1 here?
Oh yeah, no, I saw the temps going up, and I don't want this thing to blow up at a bad part of the track and cause an incident, so I'm good.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Well, before we send you off, any quick shoutouts you want to give?
Bar Harley Dirt for everything they do. Shift, S2, everything. I know Gilly's not having the greatest night, but he's going to turn around in half 2. Nick and Kian are having fantastic races, so shout out to them. And this works. If it doesn't, and I bring bad luck, I didn't say anything, you never heard it.
Nope, I heard nothing. Well, best of luck to you in half number 2. Race fast, race swift, but also take chances.
I will try.
All right, that's Ty McIntosh, and hopefully we'll talk to him later on in the race here for good purposes when he's in the top 3, when he makes a redemption story here in half number 2. But right now, that redemption story is all Nick Indelicato, who started back in that 20th position, and he's looking for a podium finish here, chasing down Johnny Eckert.
Yeah, and while all that was going on, we had a really interesting moment there. That whole lap, R.C. Anderson and Kian were fighting through some serious lap traffic, and coming out of that that right-hander around the garden, Kian got right behind the lap car of Nathaniel Cherry. I don't know if it freaked him out or whatever, but Kian just about looped it coming out of that corner. And of course, immediately after that, Nathaniel moved over and let him by. but that gap between RC Anderson and Kean Raleigh has grown considerably since that little slip up.
Yeah, it almost doubled. I think it was 1.7 seconds about the lap before. Now we're looking at a 3.4 second differential right now, kind of playing with that. It's kind of hard with the corners and whatnot, but yeah, definitely something that could play a factor in either this half or the next half as well is lap traffic, because it's a road course.
Yeah, we got
street
smoked
course
up here. I think Capiano just got in front of these guys. I think he's okay though.
Yeah, going around again, the 21 car of Thomas Capuano. But yeah, that's a street course. For street course, relatively short. About a minute 25 on average. Right now they're running 126. His best laps 120, barely breaking into the 123s. So it's a relatively short road course. So lap traffic could definitely play a factor in either one of these halves.
It's playing a small factor now, as you see Eckert get sideways there again, ahead of, well, there goes Capuano straight off the racetrack out of the way. But ahead of Eckert, we got Adam Peeler, Adam Tipping, and then Jerry, 3 lap cars lined up right in front of these guys. And lap traffic, from what I can tell, have done a fairly respectable job of staying out of the way of the leaders. So it'll be a factor. If you catch them in the wrong spot, there might not be a good opportunity to get by. It's just the way it happens sometimes.
Yeah, and it's especially when you catch them. If you catch them on the straightaway, plenty of time to pass. You got these corners tight. Sometimes you got to just sit there and wait until you get through the corner, until you can make that move. Now 7 laps to go here in the Sharks Designs 128 half number 1. Again, just a note, only 2 cars inverting, so every position these guys can snag is going to be at a premium. And right now the field's relatively spread apart, besides the battle you're watching right now between Johnny Eckert and Indelicato. And one thing I'm liking on Indelicato, we've seen how quick he was to work through this field, but now it looks like he's biding his time, and that was maybe the first time we seen Nick kind of slide his tires there a little bit, but I think he'll still be okay. But Johnny, on the other hand, it's a tale of 2 different race cars here.
I think it's at a certain point when you get rid of the rear tires enough, it might be faster just to commit to drifting everywhere than to try and control the slide. I kind of feel like that's what Johnny's gets to at some point. It's like, if I'm going to be drifting everywhere, I might as well commit to it, because if you throw it into every corner and just try to control the slide, it's not a safe way through, but it's carrying a lot of speed through the corners. So I'm not going to say it's a good idea, and I'm not going to say it works, but Johnny Eckert's been doing it for the better part of half an hour now, and he's running 3rd. So take what you will from that.
And he's currently holding off that 4 car of Indelicato, but they do have a couple lap cars ahead of them that could play a factor for the battle of this 3rd spot to get into a podium finish here with only 6 laps to go. And maybe feeling a little bit of the pressure is Indelicato, because again, we've watched him for a significant portion of this half, and I don't think we've seen that of him all night. Here's another battle.
Yeah, I was just about to say DJ Weeks has been closing up to the back of Seth Rawls here for the 6th position. This is the other closest on-track battle, and just so we're keeping tabs on it, no battle yet, but Keane was able to close up half a second of that gap to RC. Still 6 laps, still 3 seconds to close. But Weeks and Rawls and Indelicato and Eckert are the 2 closest battles on track right now.
Yeah, and see if DJ Weeks can catch by the Rocket Man, who's really fast, not out of control. We haven't seen him up in the air. Well, hopefully I didn't just jinx him. Lock the brakes up there a little bit.
Stop talking right now. I think you're close.
Yeah. Oh, DJ gets sideways. Wow, able to hang on to it. And man, probably just like us up in the booth, those drivers in those cockpits got to be maybe not only just kind of sighing a sigh of relief. There might be a couple curse words in those cockpits when they save these cars, how close that they could be from turning it.
Well, I know if it were me, you'd have to put a rated R designation on my microphone if I were driving this track.
Oh, I would be for mature audiences only. maybe like 50 plus.
50 plus.
Yeah.
Words that aren't even. Wow. Really creepy curse words.
Ooh, yeah. Like, gosh darn it, I lost a hamper.
Oh. Those are some curse words.
Yep. Oh! Speaking of curse words, Cooper Johnson, Caden Tufts getting together. Caden Tufts spun around, has to stop. He has to back up, and there could be some curse words exchanged in that ordeal. But Caden gets going, and it's so hard. I think you were saying once you're in that position, we'll take a look at the replay here.
Interesting. There, I'm not really.
It's hard to back up. Oh, take it up wide. It's just two different ways to take that corner. Cooper took it way more aggressively on the inside to hug it, where Caden was going to swing it wide, and they just met in the middle there.
Yeah, because both drivers were on the brakes all the way, it looked like. It's just how it happens sometimes, and I think Caden Tufts has gone around again.
Yeah.
He missed turn one, and he pulled off to the side of the barrier. He's having a fun time.
Yeah, and sometimes you just get back in that rhythm. You might be a little, heart rate might be up a little bit after getting turned like that. And I think he did just fall last now.
Oh, that traffic played a factor here. Adam Tepe hitting the wall off the exit of turn one, got right in the path of Eckert. A little bit of nose damage there on that 6 car, and Delicato has all but closed right up to the back of him.
Yeah, what it looked like, Johnny was getting just a little bit of breathing room over in Delicato, and that gap has now closed. And now Johnny has a little bit more damage to deal with. And I'm sure you could ask him, he probably had enough already. That car is
that was no light
derby.
contact. That was no light contact. I'm just now looking back at it. He
No.
He clobbered Adam fairly hard. That was fairly significant. I'm a little concerned about this car's performance on the straights once we get to him.
He got. Yeah, we were taking a look at the replay, and he missed that corner. And oh man, I don't think Johnny was prepared for it at all. So
no, he was on the loud pedal coming off the corner. He was going.
And then now you got two things to worry about. And you see the heavy damage to the rear end of Tepe's car as well. You got to worry about the straight line speed here. Like, Peeler goes around. But now there's two things that come into play. Kind of an almost loser there as well. Looks like he smoking the tires. Trying to avoid Peeler there, I believe. But it looks like the top end hasn't really lost much, but when you get damaged like that too, I think you also got to keep an eye on those temps so you don't blow that motor with that nose damage.
Oh yeah, I mean it might be driving okay now, but we do have temperature gauges in iRacing, and temperatures do rise when you get nose damage, and only 3 laps to go. He might be okay, he might not be okay. All I know is he's definitely pushing with whatever he has left in what once was a clean race car.
Yeah, definitely looks like not quite Derby level, but definitely seen some things here in half number one with only 3 laps to go. And just to note, RC Enerson about a 5-second gap, kind of playing around with that gap over Kean Rally in this battle for the 3rd position. Still going on strong here. There you see RC taking 2 laps to go. And I believe Vic might have to confirm this, but yeah, I'm sure RC's taken laps around here in other forms of motorsport, but said he never been on this track with a stock car here tonight, so didn't look like it was that much of a learning curve for RC. He's looking smooth so far.
I think on a smooth. DJ Weeks has really shut that gap down to Seth Rawls. He is right on his tail, and he has been hounding that 25 car all last lap. He is all over the back of him.
You were not exaggerating, but they're going to go through the hairpin. It looked like he gave him enough gap there. And it looked like Rawls got through it better that time. Ooh, little rear tire spin there for DJ.
And that is as far as Seth Rawls has been in front of him for the last 2 laps. That's going to give him a lot of breathing room.
Yeah, that might be just enough, but any slip-up, as we've seen, they're going to be going down here through corner number 1. We've seen a lot of trouble here tonight so far. Looks like both of them get through there nice and smooth. And now we get to go prettiest part of the track. Now we're looking at Johnny Eckert, still trying to hold off Nick Indelicato in these final 2 laps. Again, for Johnny, there's not a lot of racing. There's not a lot for him on line besides starting position in half number 2. Indelicato, I guess, well, maybe not a lot for him because he's got such a dominant points lead. So right here, this is basically a battle for where you're going to start for half number 2, and I'm sure neither one of them want to give an inch here. Ooh, you see Indelicato slide the tires once again off the final corner.
Yeah, and if you do want to battle to that, Weeks is closing that gap again. He's coming. He's really, really good in this middle late sector of the racetrack here. Seth Rawls drifting all the way through it, closes about another 2 car lengths. He just closes. If he could get up through the gears coming off this hairpin here, he might have something for that 25 car.
It's where he lost time last time by, but right here it looks like he's going to stay a little closer than he did last lap, but we are 1 lap to go. RC looks like all he has to do is ride it smooth here.
Oh, Weeks is going to take a shot at him here. Weeks is looking to his outside.
Looking to the outside, see who's going to outbrake going into the first corner here. Rawls got the spot. Oh, nice power move by DJ, and he makes it stick. And he's going to get the advantage here, and he's got it. Whew. Oh, cross him.
He's not letting him go.
No, he's not giving up that spot, and RC has crossed the line. I do believe he's coming to cross the line. And winner in half number 1 in the Shark Designs 128, RC Enerson, filling in for Aaron Lineman in that number 72 3-pedal Mafia Toyota, takes the win. Kian Rally second. See him cross the line. We'll see who wins this battle. Oh, a little bumper. Oh, he's smoking the tires, drag racing. Oh, he was trying to go for third, but Johnny Eckert holds him off. Delgado still trying to save it. And how about Kynan Jones coming across the line? The Land Shark might be someone to watch out for once we back him for half number 2.
I think Seth Rawls has conceded a position to Dallas Myhan. Seth had a huge moment, just all but spun around. It'll be Dallas finishing behind him, behind DJ Weeks in the 8th spot.
I think we're gonna take a look at what Dallas Myhan happened. Oh, got loose. Oh boy. And Myhan just sneaking through. And that wasn't even meant to be a pun. Whew. And there you see Myhan coming home in 7th. Rawls in 8th. Kenton, nice solid run in 9th. And Damian rounds out the top 10 here for half number 1 of the Shark Designs 128? No, 150. 128. 128. So we'll get the there you see the final order, and again the only difference we'll see in half number 2 for the starting order is going to be Kian on the pole and RC starting in 2nd. And then you're kind of looking through the rest of the field, kind of no Cooper Johnson, see no front end. He finished in 11th. Carpenter, last car on the lead lap, running in the 12th position.
And man, Chris Gutierrez finished in 24th, Kenton 9th, and Kynan Jones 5th. That is a hefty swing of the points. And as we start this second half, it's not over yet for poor Chris Gutierrez and Dustin Dewar, who's not even here tonight. Those guys that finish in the top 10 will be, well, starting in the top 10. And when Chris starts this race, he's going to be instantly at a massive deficit. That word, deficit.
Deficit, yep.
Yes.
And one thing I'm curious about Gilberto. We've seen him really fast in practice, and I'm going to be curious to see if he can, take advantage. He's still in that spot, and Gutierrez not having a good run, Dewar not being here. He still has an opportunity to build himself a little bit of a cushion with a solid run here in half number 2. So I'm looking to see him maybe being on the aggressive side, try to attack and move up through the field here in half number 2. There you see Gutierrez going through warm-ups here. I said we might not have an interview here for the winner, RC Enerson. But I believe his sponsors, I'll just give him a shout out. I think it's the Lucas Oil School of Driving is a sponsor.
Lucas Oil School of Racing.
School of Racing, thank you. So there's RC's shout out there. Vic, you might have to do a favor, and we have to
Oh, yeah, we
shout
have
out
Vic today.
what's his drink of choice as well. You have to
You
ask
think
him
I
that.
know what his drink of choice? I don't know.
You gotta go ask him.
He's taking a bathroom break. That's what I do know.
Oh,
So he said
okay.
as he was crossing the line, he said he needs a bathroom break. So that's what he's spending these 4 minutes doing.
Oh, fun.
So I
So,
don't know.
Make some picks.
Yeah,
Yeah, Goody, you get to make your pick first though.
Who did he pick in the first half?
He picked Checker. You guys finished 1, 2, 3. So Carlos first, Matt second, Goody third.
Doesn't
So-
do me any good.
So I bet you Carlos is somewhere out there celebrating. With that though, I'm gonna steal somebody's pick, Carlos's pick. I'm gonna go RC Enerson, half number 2.
And I get to pick second, right?
Yep.
I am gonna take Nick and Delicato now that he gets to start 4th instead of 20th.
Ooh.
Then we'll wait for Carlos to type in the broadcast chat or broadcast communication channel rather.
Ooh, Gutierrez in the wall there. That's
And,
another trouble spot.
Also, some of these guys are complaining about the Lanks. Second half Land Shark Jeckert. I don't know what that means. I assume Jeckert then 6.
He's going.
Record in the
Oh, he's going Jecker.
Yep.
Carlos. Okay.
Carlos
All
going
right.
Jeckert. So.
All right.
Some of these guys are complaining about the half length. This is the normal road course length. Miles wise, maybe we should have made it shorter though. Whoops.
It's
Yeah,
it doesn't feel that long. It feels about as long as Spa felt and Montreal
Yeah,
felt
which
last
is
season. I don't know.
Bit long.
It's more fair. Yeah, and I think again that kind of goes to what the drivers, how their halves played. I'm sure Johnny would be one that was maybe thinking that half's a little too long. We've seen how quick his tires wore off, and if you're sliding around out there, Matthew, I'm sure you just want that race to end as quickly as possible.
Oh, you do, and I do think because of the slower speeds, I do think it's. What do you run at Dover? Like a 25-second, a 30-second lap time? What do you run there?
Sounds
Trust
about,
me. Trust me. There's
Yeah.
there's an end to this.
Yeah, I'd say about 24 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, like Dover, our halves at Dover 75 laps long. It's about a 35-minute race if you don't include cautions. So if you include cautions, about 45 minutes. But here, we've got 32 laps coming up and about a minute 20 a lap. I mean, yeah, the races here are. The thing for me is I think because there are no cautions, the race distances in terms of time are close to the same to what we've had all season, but there are no breaks. There is no slow down and chill out. It is push, and you are wailing it for the entire time. There's no break with the cautions, and worse than that, this seems to be one of the most difficult car track combinations we've had this season. So, in terms of time, I don't think it's all that different, but it feels like forever because of how much these guys are working.
Oh yeah, it for surely does. We've both been a part of league racing on road courses, and I can tell you, even if the race time wise is shorter, especially without those benefits of the caution, sometimes even when you do have the benefit of the caution, if you're a guy that's not the leader, it takes you almost the whole caution to get caught up to the field. So a lot of times you're not really taking a break, and even when you are under caution, it's a lot more concentration than you would see on an oval as well. So certainly concentration wise and just being up on that wheel, definitely a lot more than you would be on an oval. It can wear a guy out, and a lot of times you're using your brake foot. If you're a 2-foot racer, your left foot can get a lot more sore trying to hit those corners, hit the brakes, and holding that brake down, especially for a lot of these sharp corners that we see out here at Long Beach tonight.
Speaking of sharp corners, about 20 seconds left for these drivers to grid. Still waiting on Eckert there. He has all these drivers ready to go. And, man, doing the math, Kynan Jones needed to close up 21 points. I think he got about 15 of them right there in that first half. So another good run from him here, as we're about to find out shortly.
As we do the standing start, I think the field's about ready to go. Green flag. Hopefully no one pulls a false start and jumps it. Green is out. They are racing. Another grid start by Johnny. Jumps it, shoots the outside. RC's going to take the lead in the meantime. But does Johnny Eckert have the angle going into the corner? He might be actually at a bad angle. Oh, there we go. Straightens out a little bit. Johnny Eckert could pull the lead off.
He does.
Wow. Oh, and contact!
There between our 2 leaders.
And that's the best thing that Eckert could see right now.
Kynan around.
Oh, Kynan goes around. Oh boy, and almost blocks that whole fountain turn there. I think everyone able to keep going. A lot of beating and banging through that corner. A lot of guys still trying to get through there. And what an eventful first lap here that we didn't quite see here in half number 1.
No, and that is disaster for Kynan Jones. I mean, he's only fallen down to 13th, but a huge opportunity there starting 5th, and now he's got some work to do. His work is cut out for him. And R.C. Anderson has hit the wall. He has heavy damage to the left side. He is dropping through the running order rapidly.
Oh man, he is off pace. He is falling back into the 5th position as Kian and Indelicato get around him. Seth Rawls as well.
Oh man.
Man, and for as smooth as he was in half number 1, things looking a lot uglier here in half number 2. You got to wonder, maybe that damage, that initial contact, maybe the car didn't quite handle the same as it did.
I can tell you what it is. He, if you go back and see replay, he drove into one of the right-handers and actually hit the right side wall. Here you go. He'll see he cuts it a little bit too close to the wall. He's going to hit the right side wall and bounce off into the left side barriers. He actually hit the wall twice.
Oh yeah, you see damage on both the left and right side.
Kian has stuffed it in the barriers. Nick and Delicato missed turn 1. Both of them.
Oh boy. Oh boy. And Damian and Kian getting together, and caution is out on the racetrack. Oh, Damian goes around. Whoa.
My goodness.
So there is a lot to unpack here. And how about this? Seth Rawls is now 2nd place in this race. Indelicato missing the corner, taking out teammates, and it looked like a lot of extracurricular activities between the 12 and the 11 there as well.
Yep.
We're gonna
see Kian's going to overcook it, hit the barriers. Nick and Delicato's also going to overcook it. Nick will, instead of, he very wisely saves his race car there, but you see Damian misses it too. And I think they both get together trying to get going, and Kian does not like that, I suppose.
Yeah, they were kind of stuck together, and Kian didn't take too kindly of that and just let him know, hey man, stay off my race car. I'm the only one who can wreck my race car.
If anyone's going to wreck me, it's going to be me.
Yeah. I say that every time I race. It's weird.
I want to look again at Nick and Delicato. I mean, that was he looked like he was going to try and make the corner, and he decided last second to bail out of it and spin himself the other way, and he's going to lose his track position. But oh my goodness!
And here we're taking a look at Indelicato's replay here, missing that corner, and yeah, he knew. Maybe wheel hopping something. Oh, I'm not going to make it. Last second, and yep. Oh, I forgot something at the grocery store. Got to go pick it up. And there we go. And that's
top. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and that's gonna be huge with the damage. We see the damage on Kian trying to make that corner, but Indelicato's gonna have a clean race car, as you said. Doesn't have the track position, but all his wheels should be pointing straight yet. As a lot of cars that are ahead of him right now have some damage.
And what a big break for Kynan Jones too. He's banged up and back in 17th place, but the field is packed up once again. Give him an opportunity to get these guys close to each other, maybe make up some ground. That car's damaged, but Kynan looks good today. He looks stout. He's got the wheels under him. He's got control of it. He can still make a positive gain on that cutoff, especially because he's still got Gilberto, it looks like just about everybody in this field, a lot of them have engine damage on the nose, and I think that comes from Kynan getting turned in that right-hander. A lot of guys, yep, you'll hear, you know, Kynan spins, you see that obviously, but watch how everybody else gets stacked up behind him. Everybody kind of runs into each other. I don't think anything was intentional here, but everybody back there running into each other. Lots of damage on lots of race cars.
Kind of running through the flowers too. They're so pretty. Why would you do that?
Taking his anchor out on him.
Yeah, a little frustration. Oh, and there's more activity there on the start here as well. So that was, yeah, there was a lot to unpack there on the first lap, and man, it feels like we've had about as much action in the 3 laps so far as Calamity is concerned. That whew, just a lot to go through there. But we do have John Lynch in the booth. But Matthew, I'll let you do this interview if you wish. Go for it. Do it.
All right, John Lynch, we've got you here in the booth here. What's going on here, John? You in the infield care center? What happened?
Yeah, I was just following DJ down the front straight there, and he did the same thing I did in the first race. He hit that inside wall in the straightaway kink, and
Oh wow!
and I had nowhere to go there, and I've got 40 minutes of required, so I'm done.
You know,
Ooh,
on first
boy.
tires, it's one. And I see. Wow, I had no idea that happened. That was quite the accident. I see we've got it on the replay here. Yeah, you'll see on the front stretch here. The front stretch here. Watch the car in front of John Lynch here. That lead car in this 4-car pack. But John, speak to that little kink on the front stretch. I noticed throughout the race, I didn't see anybody spin on it. I wasn't actually able to witness it. But these guys are on fresh tires here. And you see how it kicks out on him. And he kind of loses control. How treacherous is that right-hander on the old tires?
It's definitely lifting in third gear, kind of corner and getting fourth afterwards, or just run it in fourth, and kind of coast through it. It's just if you look at the brake pedal wrong, the rear end's gonna snap. But that's how these Xfinity cars are on road courses. So it's just a racing deal, I guess.
You know, obviously not the result you wanted tonight, and road courses always seem to bring an extra level of calamity and drama, especially with how you noted how unruly these things are to drive. You looking forward to getting back to something normal next week?
I actually prefer. I can't speak. I actually prefer this type of racing. Kind of even out the talent level there, and you can definitely see who's good on road courses and who's bad on road courses. But I'm just looking forward to going to Auto Club and try and get this 86 into the owner's chase.
Well, John, I'm sorry it ended for you that way. We do have you up in the booth here, though, so you're free to give any shout-outs and any thanks you'd like to give.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank my girlfriend for watching. I wanted to put on a better show for her, but that's racing, I guess. And thank y'all for broadcasting. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to interview.
John, sorry for the tough result tonight, but we'll look to have you battle back next week and hope to have you speak to us on better terms.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It was John Lynch, his night over early here in the OSCA Sportsman Series.
Yeah, very unfortunate turn of events for John Lynch, but we do also have quickly here, while we are in a caution, 1 lap to green. We'll bring kind of Jones up here just quick for a quick interview, and kind of it was it was an eventful lap number 1, and now you're going to be back in the 21st position. Are you looking to move forward here as we conclude half number 2?
It's not going to be easy. The car is fairly heavily damaged. I'm not sure if my radiator is completely destroyed, so I'm expecting to blow up, but I'm gonna just have my fingers crossed. But either way, I love this track. Just unfortunate that the car is a little bit sketchy in places.
Yeah, it looks like some of these guys, especially having their hands full here in half number 2, but especially where you are in the chase standings. You know, just on the outside looking in, you did have that good first half to fall back on. Is it more about just letting it run till it dies, or are you going to try to kind of baby it and lift this thing across the finish line?
Well, I'm hoping I can finish and maybe pick up a couple of extra points on those who aren't as fast around here. I know I've got the pace, but now I've got a massive car restraint on. So it's not going to be easy, but any little bonus points I can get is going to become very crucial, especially at the end of the next round.
Yeah, it's going to be big to try to capitalize as much as you can, but yeah, best of luck to you here. But before we get caught up to the field here, Any shoutouts you want to give?
Yeah, I just want to thank Virtual Racing Association. You see them on the card this round. It's part of the agreement. You can check them out on Twitter at VRA _league. Weekend Woodsman, you can check them out on YouTube. I also want to thank my friend Schmoopy. They helped me out with a lot of telemetry going into this round and just helped me get a bit up to speed. And viewers watching at home, Ra and Vic for deciding to put on a street course, even if it didn't fully go my way this round, or second race.
Yeah, certainly didn't go, go your way here in half number one. But hey, still never know. Could get some time to get the damage fixed. But we'll get you down to your team chat here as well. And best of luck to you for the rest of the half.
Yep, thank you. Good luck doing this.
Green flag is out. Johnny Eckert taking the lead here. Oh, I gotta get kind of down into his team chat. Why can't I see it on here? I don't see. Where is your team chat on here?
Here, I gotcha.
Okay. Okay, there we go. I couldn't.
He moved himself.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. That was all him. But
Looks
got
like
the
everybody
restart
being,
going.
everybody
Yeah,
being a little bit more neat through here this time.
A little more cordial there through the first couple corners. Johnny Eckert pulling a big gap over Damian Leininger, who's now in second place over Seth Rawls, and moving up quickly, restarting in that 8th position. Nick Indelicato moving up into 4th, and he's chasing down his teammate Seth Rawls at the moment.
And I just want to make note, Kean Riley and R.C. Anderson both sacrificed all track position they had up to that point of that accident, came down pit road to fix damage. Kean restarted at 18, already moved up a couple spots. However, R.C. Anderson did not catch the back of the field before the restart happened, and he has a lot more work to do than Kean. The top 2 contenders in the first half have all but fallen out of contention to win this second half, and we are on lap 6.
And Peeler going around and has to wait for the field to go by before he get it going. Oop, reverse. Oh, here comes Kynan. Able to get around. I think RC's in the next car they'll be coming by. Look at the replay here. Oh, closing that gap a little too much rear brake. Oh, maybe too much beans in honor of Carlos.
Too much beans.
Too much beans. And, speaking of Carlos, man, his boy now has a pick. He could sweep the night here right now, the way it's looking. Looking good at the moment.
Don't think... I'm curious about... I was going to say about my boy there, my pick in 3rd in Delicato, but I'm curious about his tires. That was a bit of a slide he went for there. And, if that slide happened on an oval, I wouldn't be concerned. But with how the tires seem to wear here, I'm wondering if that's going to affect him too much. But then, we saw how Johnny Eckert... Oh, Seth Rawls has to lock up and avoid taking his teammate out there. That would have been an awkward conversation. But
Oh, boy.
I have to wonder, is he really worried about... Do you think he's really worried about getting by Damian as fast as he possibly can?
R.C. Anderson and Adam Peeler were involved in a crash. R.C. Anderson's disconnected.
Oh, wow, we have lost
wow.
R.C. Anderson. Oh.
Oh, boy. RC. Oh, and then Peeler getting involved as well. And cutting his losses. RC Anderson pulling off track. With that, man, these broadcasters' points now, boys, are going to look a whole lot different. Oh, don't want to talk about it.
Oh, that's you. Oh, man. I didn't know it was you. I thought it was Carlos. I was like, oh, it's time for a comeback. Oh, never mind. He's the guy that picks Johnny Eckert. Okay.
No, Carlos is looking to gain up mean points here. He's got Johnny Eckert in that lead position. So Carlos, I'm sure, is jumping up and down for joy as things are going to get interesting for that Broadcasters Cup and this battle for the lead, because, we've seen especially in half number one that Indelicato does have that long run pace. We've seen Johnny burn those tires up.
Everybody in the race just put down their fastest lap. Johnny Eckert was over a second faster than Indelicato and Rawls, and I think that's why, because Indelicato starting to get impatient running behind Damian. I think Indelicato is a little bit over the 12 car right now. He's starting to show that he can't really let Eckert get too far out front, or it's going to be too much to overcome. Starting to get a little impatient there as he gets close to him again. I don't know how much longer that 4 car is going to sit there in 3rd.
Yeah, and oh, he is trying his damnedest without just totally turning him at the moment. He's Damien.
He just about turned him there.
Yeah, Damien got a little loose off the corner, and Nick definitely did have the opportunity to lay the bumper on, and this is exactly what Johnny wants to see. He's got a 3.5-second lead, and you know, I think on the contrary to what Johnny did in half number one, burning those tires, he can take it easy now with this gap and save those tires a little bit to be in better shape before these guys come down pit road.
Oh, absolutely. And in Delicado, it's so hard to pass here. So the 4 of Delicado, you know he's going to have a chance at Johnny Eckert, but maybe not as much of a chance as you thought, because he's got to burn his stuff up running behind Damien, trying to pass Damien. Johnny Eckert is putting a gap on these guys, and he's cruising. So huge thing. He can manage, even if Nick Delicado starts to catches him. And by the time Nick catches him, Johnny might have a whole extra 4 laps of grip on the 4 car.
Yeah, and it looks like the way Indelicado's sliding around trying to get past the 12 of Damian Leininger. You got to play your bias earlier, Matthew. I want to play my bias. You know, he can turn Damian all he wants. You know, I'll tell Damian that right to his face. But Nick, do not wreck that deck lid on his race car. Mama's watching Miss Goodie's Goodies on the deck lid of that car. Got to keep it on there. Getting a little TV time, and Nick is letting it known that he is there. And, and Delcano sideways.
He saves it, but man, at the expense of losing 3rd position and possibly another one as Alex Kitten closes up to him.
And maybe more so important than the positions right now, the rear tires.
Yes, he smoked him big time there. If he's not careful, he's going to loop it or heat him up even more. He needs to take some time to let those cool off.
Yeah, he's got to kind of regroup and gather it back up. But, wow, I just got a message here from Dustin Dewar why he missed this race. It was the old, Vic was making fun of us how old me and Dusty are, and he was napping, and it's the start of the race.
Oh.
So, all people need naps. Don't make fun.
His late afternoon nap, I see.
Yeah, he was reading the newspaper, getting all this latest information that was printed yesterday. Yep, Matlock was on, and sometimes he doze off. it happens. Believe me. So we'll see if he can recover next week going into Auto Club. And speaking of recovery, we got to see if Indelicato looks like he is closing that gap back up on Seth Rawls and Leininger. And I got to wonder, now that he just went through that right through this hairpin last time, is he going to be even more impatient once he catches that 12 car once again?
The thing for me is Nick knows he's got the speed to win this race, and obviously winning is not a huge priority given his point situation, as he and Seth actually both gained on Johnny. I think Johnny might be starting to feel those rear tires. Everybody kind of gained on him that time. Damien was about half a second quicker. I was about to start saying Nick might be getting desperate, and he might push anyways, even if the tires are starting to go. If this pace keeps up between the top 4, it could be 4 cars under a blanket here pretty soon.
Yeah, it could be. They're definitely closing, and I'm just sitting here trying to watch that 6 car, see how loose he's getting, because there's definitely 2 Johnnies that we see. He hasn't been full-time competition in OSCA so far this season, but in half number 1 we've seen him struggle, but we've also seen the Damien around.
Oh no!
Oh no! Keep the Declan on it, buddy. Keep the Declan on it.
Declan's okay.
Declan's good.
His heart's probably not, but his Declan's okay.
Yeah, and his pride's taking a toll, but that Declan's okay.
And I was just about to say, see here.
And we're gonna replay.
I'm wondering if he just gets in a little hot. Wow, in the same corner. And man, great job by everybody getting by, but him not backing into the field.
Yeah, and McIntosh almost. He had to lock him up to try to avoid the backing up of Leininger there as well. But as I was saying about Johnny, now that gap has gone back a little over 3 seconds. But
Get the pass on his teammate, overcooked it.
Oh man! And so I think the patience has been lost there by Indelicato, that normally so smooth, but see, you know, again, he was getting down to that point, and that, man, that's going to be a lot of damage on that 4-car, and we've seen guys like RC get similar damage and not be able to keep that pace that they had up at half number 1. We'll take a look at the replay here.
I think that's going to bite him the most. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, it's just you see he hit that braking point late, getting by, maybe missed his braking point, and slid right into that barrier, and Seth Rawls maybe getting a little damage as well. So maybe what I was going to say about Johnny, we've seen him in OSCA seasons past, also play these road course races so smart, where he saves those tires. It looks like he's given up on that lead, but then once we're in the longer run, but especially after that contact we just seen, I think if it was Johnny losing speed,
Nick coming over the radio saying, "I got a pit. I can tell watching. That car does not want to turn right." The 4-car coming to pit road here.
And just hopefully he doesn't have the old meatball flag. There you see Kenton relinquishing the 3rd position to Kean Raleigh, trying to move up through the field. We haven't heard much of him after his incident earlier, so wow, it's been a tale of 2 halves here, Matthew, and the second one's been a wild one.
Man, you know, I've got to backtrack so much. I was about to start talking about Damien. I was going to say credit to Damien. He was impressive at Spa earlier in the season, and he ran really well. And he was running really good in this race. And just as I was about to open my mouth, he bent it. And, well, he spun. He didn't hit anything. He spun. And then we were going to go back up to Nick. And the thing that bites the most is it looked like Seth was pulling over. Seth was going to give it to him. He was not going to fight him. And he just overcooked it. I mean, that turn has shown me so far that it doesn't matter. All of our best road course racers in this league who don't usually make mistakes and slip-ups have all, in some sort of way, just lost it tonight.
You know, again, one thing that I think I can tell from this road course, because generally a lot of road courses, you can miss your braking points by a little bit and still salvage the corner. But if you miss this, it seems like these braking points by a razor's edge, you could be going for having a bad time.
This track is extremely unforgiving, and the only forgiveness I'm seeing right now is I am entirely shocked by that 11 car of Kean Raleigh. The gap to Eckert was 9 seconds last time. Kean just closed a whole 2 seconds on our race leader. So after the early race woes, that caution coming out saved him, and credit to him. He's back up to 3rd place, 7 seconds off Johnny Eckert, 20 laps to make up that gap. So with Indelicato all but out of this thing, and Anderson gone, Seth not seeming to make up a whole lot of ground on our leader, we might still have a fun race to the end here.
Yeah, we see Indelicato on pit road, I believe again, or still. He's currently a lap down. So,
Nick Indelicato manually. That looked jerk. I picked him.
See, somewhere out there in internet land, well, lack of internet land, I got to make fun of Carlos a little bit since he doesn't have internet this week. He's laughing though. He's gonna get the last lap. Yeah,
he's gonna gain 20 points on us.
Yeah, he's a late bloomer. That's
we look like chumps.
Yeah, and he's not even here.
He's not here.
You know, when we get the last lap, he's not even here to gloat about it. So we win.
Yeah, exactly. Next week when he gloats about it, I'm not gonna let him.
Yeah, I'll be like, I'm old, huh? What are you talking about? I forgot. Hold on, Matlock's on. Oh, Gutierrez, and another tale of 2 halves for that 16 car. We've seen him out early having troubles in half number 1. He's currently in the 6th spot, surviving all this mayhem, and Ty McIntosh as well. Another one who we talked to in half number 1 with his troubles, sitting in that 7th spot, looking to take that 6th spot away from Gutierrez.
Man,
both these guys definitely turning around here in half 2.
Gotta point it out, Johnny Eckert's lap time was incredibly slow last time around. When I say slow, I mean he was the slowest car of any car in the top 11 on track last time. Seth Rawls closed up a second to him. Kean Raleigh was a whopping 3 seconds quicker than him that time around.
Yeah, it looked like.
So what you're telling me is Jeckert is doing Jeckert things by trying to save gas?
Eckert, I don't know how he plans to save gas. There's no way.
We've seen crazier from him.
We doubted him. Do we doubt him again?
He's
Do we
short
doubt
shifting.
him
He's
again?
short shifting. He's short shifting. He's shifting it like 6K.
Oh my goodness! Don't tell if he does it again.
I
If he
kinda
does
hope
it
he
again.
does. Kind of
Oh
hope he
my
does. I mean,
goodness.
it's gonna be another one of those things. You got one guy with a gap just chilling and saving, and the other guy is pushing his brains out trying to catch him. I mean, at the rate he's gonna cut out a whole pit stop if he saves enough. And pit road's long here. I mean, it might honestly work. It is a slow crawl down that long pit road. I certainly hope he's got to be saving.
Is Macintosh on pit road, or he lost a few positions? Not sure if he had issues.
He's spun. He spun.
He spun, so Ty McIntosh did spin.
He was trying. He got in a little bit hot to one of those left-handers working to the inside of Gutierrez. He also spun the 16 of Gutierrez. That spin to a couple guys to light working around him in the playoffs.
Oh, synchronized spin. And Gutierrez was able to point himself in the right direction right away, but still losing a couple spots. McIntosh, on the other hand, he's going to fall out of the top 10, currently in the 11th place in the standings. But Johnny Eckert here, I guess, old Magic Man, trying to save enough fuel. So I believe we restarted on what, lap 4? 5 maybe?
Listening to Eckert's in-car audio, it is ridiculous. He is shifting at 6,800 RPM max. He's coming out of every corner a whole gear up what you should be. I mean, every possible trick in the book to save every ounce of fuel, he's using it right now. And
he's coasting right now.
He is absolutely coasting. There's a lot of spots on this track where you can get away with it. I mean, he's losing considerable time to Kian, but Kian's going to be coming down pit road here in about 2 or 3 laps, and we're really going to be able to see how this is going to shape out. And shout out to Eckert for making it interesting, anyways.
Well, and again, he cut the car off, and if anyone can do it too, again. The semi-retired Johnny Eckert, who's not running out here for points, he's running out here for wins. So why not go for it? And you know what? Just to make us doubt him one more time.
It could be. And listen, Johnny's road course racing abilities here are as good as anybody else, as good as Kian's or RC's or Delicados here in this league. But he seems to be struggling with the rear tires on this race car. And if he wants to push to keep up the pace of the 11, he seems to have been struggling. So if he can't win it by pushing, maybe he can find a different way to win it. And man, if he pulled this off, it'd be something else. Here it looks like Keen's going to move around him, although he's not worried about that 11 car right now. He is focused on himself, and he is racing with the racetrack and his fuel tank right now.
Yeah, he's. I think he's also being a mad scientist, maybe math, and see when he can push it. We've seen it earlier this season, racing Damian Leininger, who came down pit road, and Johnny Eckert come down to fuel. And there's just Seth Rawls down pit road right now, so he split it in about half here. Again, 32 laps, 16 to go. And Eckert, I mean, I'm thinking it's an extra, man, it has to be an extra 4 or 5 laps that he's got to save. I mean, in that ballpark, maybe as short as 3, but a considerable amount of time, or considerable amount of laps around this racetrack that he's trying to save. But if you're Kian right now, you got to be pushing as hard as you possibly can to gap Johnny as much as possible, to maybe even just take a splash of gas and somehow be within a puncher's chance of passing Johnny at the end here. This could be very good. Oh,
yeah, we're going to be able to... Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, you'd see him pushing there. You saw him go a little sideways. He's digging. Kian is.
Oh, yeah. The fun thing is when Kian hits, you start to see the differences in those lap times. We're going to be able to gauge just how many laps it may or may not take Kian to catch Johnny. And, man, you weren't kidding. I'm watching Kian is smoking him. He is driving, for lack of better words, he's driving his ass off. I mean, he can't drive that race car any harder without wrecking it. And I have to think he's going to be coming. Well, there he is. He calls it right there, pitting in, taking his tires. And now we're going to see just how much time he loses and how much he's got to track down Johnny Eckert with.
Yeah, we're gonna see how it is. Yeah, in just a second. I do have to apologize to Indelicato. Just saw he was in the infield care center, and I was gonna actually pull him out of the team chat as well, but I think he did leave for tonight. So apologies to Indelicato. To kind of get his perspective of what happened in that corner would have been interesting as well. The guy he was battling at that moment, Seth Rawls, who has come down pit road. He's in that 8th position, trying to battle Brent Jones, who is well, he has pitted as well. I don't know if that was under caution, but that's the other interesting thing. So some of these guys that pitted under that caution have a better. Oh!
Brent Jones, he kind of cut him on Dallas. Oh my goodness, it gets worse. What has happened? Dallas stepped it into the back of Brent Jones and
Caution is out! Caution is out!
Oh
track was blocked.
Goodness. This
Track
changes
was
everything.
blocked. Oh man! So this gives the advantage now, even though he got spun out, but he still hasn't gotten straight. Seth Rawls, who's come down pit road. Oh, and Brent just leaves the race, but oh man! So there is once again a lot to unpack here. Here's a replay of what happened.
This is complex. This is very complex. He's going around. Brent doesn't look like he's interested in racing. I mean,
he was trying to let him go and just had a bad angle in the corner, and there you see the track blockage. Nowhere for another car to go. That's why the caution is out.
Rightfully called by race control. That's a dangerous situation. You got 3 cars blocking one of the tightest corners on the racetrack. You can't let them race like that.
So now what do we do? Now what do you do if you're Johnny? You're going to be the lone man on pit road.
Yeah, you gotta ask what's Johnny gonna do. I mean, he doesn't have the tires. There's no way. I mean, that kills him. Everybody else had come down pit road already, and wow.
Yes, this is going to be interesting. He's still saving fuel. I believe he's still coasting right now.
Yeah, he's. You know what? If he's not going to win the race, he's going to die trying.
Yeah, you know, and this definitely does save his for his fuel strategy. I don't know. Do we know if Kian took tires there as well, as he's already worked back up into second?
I think everybody came with Kian to pit road, though. I don't think it mattered all. I'll go back and check. Although I did see him enter his box, they did jack the right side of the car up, so I do think Kian. Yeah, Kian did take 4 tires. I think everybody actually came down on the same lap with him, is the thing.
So that could be it could be a whole nother race here, as Johnny's gonna have to hang on for dear life and also save fuel.
And
it's gonna be interesting. This is gonna be interesting.
In terms of our playoff implications, Alex Kenton is 3rd, and we have Gilberto here in 5th. We've got quite a shakeup here. Kynan Jones has worked his way back to 12th, and he's going to get another crack at the field here. Chris Gutierrez is 10th, though. I mean, we've got 4 of our guys on the cut line running in the top 12 right now, and we've got a restart coming.
Yeah, and it's definitely right now shaping good for those guys that are near or on the bubble for this, or they are inside or outside of that bubble, I should say, of these playoffs. And the question now is, Johnny Eckert, what is a poor boy to do? Because even with him saving fuel, he doesn't even turn. Is he coming down pit road? No.
No, I think it's a pride thing. I think he's gonna. I think it's maybe he's just gonna challenge himself at this point and see if he can make the whole race without a pit stop. Because you never want to count anyone out. But there is no way Johnny Eckert wins this race. I mean, let's just be plain, cut, dry, and simple. You're about 2 or 3 seconds a lap slower on old tires, and he has a field of race cars on fresh tires right behind him. He is the only car on these old tires, and he is still trying to save fuel to make it to the end of the race. And at a road course where it is incredibly unlikely that we get cautions because it is a road course, we got a caution for a track blockage. So I'm hearing a lot of watch outs over the microphones, but anyways, I think at this point, maybe he just commits to it because, he's going to pit and go to last and not win the race anyways. So let's try and save fuel and see if our strategy would have worked, or at least if we would have been able to make it.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for Johnny, because especially too basically, if he wants to still try to win this race too, and he said that just the tires alone is going to be a big enough disadvantage, he's got to do all his basically fuel saving right now, and give it 100% once we go back green. And I still got to say, even though this caution benefits him for the purposes of saving gas, but is it still going to be enough to make it to the 33 laps? I think Vic said, was it 25 laps? Was the
Yeah,
the
you can
fuel
make
bill?
it at most 25 without saving. So
He's got to save so much fuel. There's no
Yes,
way.
That's a lot of fuel to save, but yeah, and I don't doubt that Johnny could have at least made it close. He would have made it interesting, if he to make it on fuel. I think it's not going to be a big issue, but I think as far as even giving a puncher's chance at this win, I think that's going to be just too many things stacked up against him right now.
And I'm sorry for being distracted here, but I hope you start at the Cardinals defense in fantasy football tonight.
Well, what's the score in the game?
35-17.
Oh my goodness.
Andy Dalton does not look good.
Well, he hasn't in a while. Ooh, Johnny's slowing up. He's
Really saving fuel here.
yeah.
He's faking this out like I'm not gonna making this think he's gonna go to pit. I don't know.
Yeah, he's flirting with something there. See if the pace truck lights go off. 1 to green, so the field will double up. We'll see what Johnny Eckert has once we go by. So he's got one more chance here, one more lap to save as much fuel as possible. But he's gonna have to give those old tires everything they have, and the only saving grace he might have is he didn't obviously burn those tires up as much as he did in half number 1. So as far as used tires are concerned, being 20 laps old, definitely not 20 laps old as they would be as used up, I guess you could say, as half number 1, but definitely not as grippy or as fresh and new as that 11 car of Keen Rally.
You better believe he's gonna fight. I just don't know how much he's gonna have to fight with. Are we gonna hit the time limit before we're gonna hit the time limit, I think, or it's gonna be very close before the race is over.
It might be close. It could be interesting here, but we do have Brent Jones, who was involved in that last caution with the track blockage. Brent looked like kind of a tough spot to be put in. Unfortunately, brought out the yellow. Kind of give you your perspective what happened there.
I was just about ready to pit there. I was gonna let some guys just pit by, and just wrong place, wrong time. Probably on me. Should have probably just waved them by a little bit sooner. But it is what it is.
It seems like it's either one of these tracks there too. Especially it looked like a bad angle coming onto pit road there, or coming onto that last hairpin. That kind of looked like that maybe what contributed to the accident there. But how razor thin are hitting these braking points out here tonight?
It's almost like you're hitting a golf side sprints every time, or you're just gonna miss the corner sprints every time.
Yeah, it certainly seems so. But anyway, hey, we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here. Brent, any shout-outs you want to give here quick?
All right, we're gonna get some shouts on Corey Abbott's Graphics. They're on board in pseudo for the whole month of October. We're trying to make up for some sponsorship losses in our leagues. We got This Is Goodies, obviously. Have to be biased here. And give a shout to pretty much everybody, friends and family who support this effort week in and week out, 4 days a week.
Well, hopefully we'll see better luck for you next week here at Auto Club as we are back green flag racing. But that's Brent Jones, and better luck to you next week, buddy.
Cheers. Good luck, y'all.
You bet. Brent Jones. Oh, trying to get him down to the interview waiting there. As right now, we see Johnny Eckert holding on to that top spot. How much longer do you think he's going to be able to hang on? Matthew, you got the weird stuff going on again. You got the fuzzies, you got the cat scratch fever. Now we're down to the time factor playing a factor in this race. Only 13 minutes to go. And I think 11 laps to go, so this could be very close on time here, winding the race down. It's going to be, I think we're going to boil down to a time thing, so that plays advantage for Johnny Eckert as well, who is giving it full song now. He can't save any fuel at the moment. He's trying to hold off Kian Rally with those fresher tires. And, through these corners right now, Johnny's looking pretty good. I'm going to see out of this hairpin how he's going to hold on to this lead, getting down under power. Ooh, Kian looks on the outside. He's going to pull the crossover move. Now getting down on the gas down the front straightaway. See who has the advantage. Looks like Johnny's going to hold off going to turn 1. Matthew, we got a copy.
Do you?
Nothing yet. Maybe?
I heard him. I heard him.
He's almost back.
Do we sound bad?
We sound good.
All right, and wow, Johnny Eckert looks good. I'm surprised he's held on to the lead this long.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, there it goes. Okay, Kian did not turn him.
Yeah, it definitely he's being patient so far, but again, now race the clock. Here comes Kian on the inside. It's going to be a drag race. Oh, Johnny looks like he's going to hold him off one more time.
He's going to make sure he doesn't get any advantage going into the corner, runs him all the way out to the wall, and for sure, it looks like there's still a little bit of tire left on that 6 car.
Yeah, but it's how much longer can he hold on? Does he have 12 more minutes of good tire left to hold off that 11?
I do need to point out for our playoff bubble, I was going to try and say something, but my session died and my microphone crapped out. Kynan Jones had a bit of a disaster there coming to the green. The field stacked up in his lane, going through the hairpin, sacrificed his front bumper to the rear end of Chris Gutierrez, and he is on pit road fixing what I assume is terminal damage at this point. Oh, it was... Oh, unless there was another incident, because it was coming to green when he lost that nose. Unless there was something else.
Oh, see, he's currently sitting in the 10th.
Oh, here it is. Maybe...
Oh, Kenton going around.
Kenton,
oh, man.
Wow, Kenton. That is huge for Kenton.
Yeah, kind of. And then Kynan Jones, I believe, still out on the racetrack, running in that 10th position at the moment, but definitely looks a little worse for the wear. Still holding on. And, oh, Kenton hard in that tire barrier there, right by the fountain.
I might be seeing...
Oh, Kian taking the lead.
Yeah, excuse my brain fart there. I saw Jones, and I didn't even see 89. Kynan Jones did lose his front bumper. I'm not crazy, but he is still in the race. Thank God.
And right now, Kian taking the lead. And looks like Johnny's still trying to save fuel. I think I'm still right on board, and I can hear his in-car saving a little bit of fuel. So there's still a little bit of worry for Johnny Eckert if he can finish this last 10 minutes on fuel. That's still going to be a factor for that 6 car.
Dallas Myhand. I mean, we don't... Dallas isn't usually a road course guy, but I believe he had a top 10 finish in the first half, and he's looking pretty in third right now.
And how about everybody's... I don't know if I want to say it. No, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say emotional support pick, but I don't want to jinx him.
Oh, well, now you said it.
Yeah, now I said it. Gilberto running in 4th, had a rough half number 1, but he's right behind Dallas Myhand. Could maybe even end up with a podium finish here tonight.
And you know what? I mean, he is currently running ahead of Kynan Jones by 6 spots. You saw Alex Kenton spin around. Kynan Jones and Alex Kenton are both guys chasing Gilberto. Remember, Gilberto here was only 21 points up on that cut. He is the last man into the playoffs, and if they were to finish like this right now, that gap would still be a little closer than it was coming in, but this top 5 run right here, if he can close it out here in the top 5, could be a season-saving top 5 for him.
Yeah, and he's definitely trying to lay some dimes out there right now, trying to hang on to that top 5. Hopefully, maybe he can get a podium finish. I don't think we talked to him really all season, so it'd be a nice change of pace. Yeah, at least not in a good way. I don't think. Not in a top 5. There's old Rocket Man sitting in 9th.
Solid comeback there for his woes earlier.
Ooh, Cooper Had to get on the brakes hard there, right in front. Yep, 2 for 2 there for Cooper. Letting us know that he just wanted to show off that green roll cage he's got on that,
Oh, yeah.
on that car. It looks pretty cool. The old Mountain Dew Dodge red line green cars from.
I love that car.
Yeah, the old. I think that was a Mayfield car, wasn't it? Or is it an Apple?
I believe it's a Mayfield. I believe it was a Mayfield.
It is a Mayfield car.
Mayfield
He's a
car?
big Jeremy Mayfield fan.
Ah.
Who was? Mayfield was my boy back then. Mobile One. Mobile
Clearly, you
One.
don't know his main scheme, so.
Oh, I forgot. I mean, he wasn't my #1 guy, but.
I forgot. Is that another old joke? Oh,
wow.
Heather Rolls is not a Jeremy Mayfield fan.
Nope. Not a Mayfield fan at all. He's not big on math.
He does like 8th place, though.
He does. He really likes 8th place, and of course he was battling up there for the shaping up for a solid podium finish there for Rawls, and he's still trying to dig and see if he can get up there somehow, some way. There's only a handful of laps here to go, a little more than a handful of laps
And
to go.
a huge night for. It will be. It should be time based by just a minute, I think, and a huge night for Chris Gutierrez. He did not have a good first half at all. It was looking to be really bad for him. He has come back to finish. Well, excuse me. He has come back to look like he might finish in 6th place. I don't want to jinx anything yet because he's still got race cars behind him and right in front of him. But a very important comeback drive for him.
And how about Adam Tempe there as well, who's had a rough season, rough go of it, in the top 5 right now, trying to hold off Gutierrez in a very special scheme that he's really proud to show off here tonight.
Is Adam? I believe Adam is in our playoff, though. I want to say he's. I can pull it up real quick. I've got it.
I think he is, but definitely not having the best of luck that he'd want to have. He's up. Oh! We
better cut somewhere else. We better leave him alone.
He's. Oh!
Yeah, Damien locks it up there.
Oh, Gutierrez goes wide.
Chris Gutierrez cannot afford disaster. Plus 38 going into this race. He certainly lost a lot of those points in the first half. He needs to get out of here with a solid finish if he wants to have a decent cushion going into the
Yeah, Seth Rawls back up now into the 6th position, trying to chase down Damien for a top 5, but Damien gets a little loose going into the corner there. Now let's see what they can do through the hairpin. Nice and wide for Rawls. He could cross him over, not this time. Staying right on that back bumper of the 12 car of Damien Leininger. Oh, maybe gap a little bit. Bad angle. My bad.
Might have a battle here. Oh my!
Just kissed it. Just kissed it. He's good.
Goodness.
He's good. He's good. He's got I'd like the chance to interview either of these guys, or if they finish on the podium here. But I tell you, after the kind of season Gilberto's had, he started off pretty decently, and it has been absolute misery for him through the fall stretch here. Yeah.
I'd love to see his elation with a top 3 finish.
Yeah, and it could definitely happen. Maybe both of them, if they can chase down that 6 car of Johnny Eckert, who I still think is trying to save a little bit of fuel as well. Oh, my hand!
Chance here, Malice. My hand slips up.
And you still see these guys running in the top 5. It doesn't matter where you're running. This track is very unforgiving for these stock cars all night long. Right now, Dale Smyhan still holds on to that 3rd position over Gutierrez. It looks like Tempe does get around, holding on to that 6th spot for the moment. Cooper Johnson now looking to get around the 16 as well. This could be a crazy corner going to the hairpin.
Chris is going to be careful here. Oh, contact.
Ooh, they keep it straight. Now McIntosh looking to pounce as well. Back in the 9th spot.
That is a gaggle of race. These guys need to be careful. Especially Chris. Chris needs to be really careful specifically.
So, yeah, he needs this finish here. And right behind him, Carpenter, who's had a solid run in the 12th position, half number 1, currently sitting in that top 10. Just, I think, kind kind of kept his nose clean here all night, and I think for the most part it's been relatively uneventful for that 71, and sometimes, especially at this wild of a course. Oh, Kynan almost getting to the wall. Might have kissed him a little bit there. But as far as Carpenter's concerned, sometimes an uneventful night is a good one too.
Is there any damage on that 71 car?
It looked pretty pristine.
I'm surprised, and not because of Tim, but because there's no damage on it. Wow, that's a very good-looking race car, considering what you see pretty much everywhere else on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, I would say, like, if we had to put one car from this race on a showroom floor, it might be Dave Carpenter's. The way it's looking, definitely not Cooper's there with no front bumper.
Really is. Not Kynan Jones. I mean, then you got all the guys out of the race. I think we got more DNFs this race than we had last race. I mean, only 16 cars are on the racetrack right now, and how many of those? What's happened to Eckert?
Eckert could not save enough fuel, so unfortunately for Carlos, man, a rough night. He tried as best he could. 2 minutes to go. All he needed. Yeah, and he's gonna come out probably around. He might lose all the lead lap cars here. He's back in the 15th position. Only Adam Peeler is yet to pass him, and he might hang on to that 15th spot for the moment.
Now we've got a battle for second.
Yeah, it's between Myhand and Gilberto here. See if he can chase him down. He's been close to looking here, but really hasn't had the opportunity to pass. And you know, I got to say, even on Dallas's car, I mean, good thing he doesn't have Miss Goodies Goodies on that deck. It looks
there
like
is none.
Yeah, there.
Yeah. You know, for Gilberto, I'm sure maybe he's got the ability to get by Dallas, but I don't know if he should push the deal that hard. I mean, you walk out of here with a third place finish after the disastrous first half. I mean, that's huge. That is really big. That's a lot of points.
Boys, we not to kill what you're saying. We might actually make the full distance here.
What do we got for laps left?
We're at 31 of 33. We might just make the time.
If we take the white flag,
we might just.
It's gonna be close.
Oh, this could get it.
At the line, it was about a minute and a half left for Kian.
So Kian takes the white flag.
Yep, that's the white. He might just make all the laps.
So we could have a full distance and come down to. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Oh, Dallas is getting a little loose. So this could be more opportunities for Gilberto to try to get that second spot. Nothing doing there. He had a shot, but it would have been a bad angle going into the corner. And
Gilberto.
for Gilberto is he wants to take that second spot, but again, oh boy, he's making moves, man. He's making me nervous too.
I think that was a mistake. I was gonna say he's playing it really smart, but that was a colossal mistake.
Oh, race over.
The graphic says checkered flag. Is that the race over?
That's it.
Race over. Kian's gonna come across the lines. He's gonna take the checkered flag here in half number 2. A very eventful half indeed for Kian. And coming across the line for second spot is gonna be Dallas Myhand right behind him. Gilberto Javier Gamera. Solid run in the top 3. David Laniger comes home in 4th. Adam Tepe bringing it home. Round out the top 5. Cooper Johnson 6th. Ty McIntosh the 7th. Gutierrez in 8th. Carpenter 9th. Oh, stuff happening. That's all across the line here. And all that being said, I think Seth Rawls had issues. He was in that top 10. He's going to come home in 12th, but Carpenter with a 9th place run, and Kynan Jones, who didn't think he was going to be able to finish this half, comes home in 10th. Yeah, it looks like a modified out here for Adam Peeler, as he's going to round out the 16 cars running in the field, and he gets the OSCA True Grit Award here for tonight, battling through, not getting a DNF here. But looks like we do have our some of our guys who finished in the podium. First up, we do have Gilberto coming home in third, and again, definitely a half that Gilberto needed. Gilberto looked like you look like you're going for second there. Looked like you had a shot, but albeit that first half didn't quite play in your favor. But as far as locking yourself or giving yourself more breathing room in that playoff standings, but the second half had to feel pretty good.
Oh no, absolutely. First half just did not work out, being stuck in traffic, and made a dumb mistake going into pit road, clipped the wall, and absolutely destroyed the car and my race. So second race was gonna be a little tough, but with a couple cautions and a good time pit stop, was able to get myself up there up front, and yeah, like luckily got myself into the podium. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like Matthew was even calling out for it. We need to talk to Gilberto because it's been such a rough, I guess, couple months where it seems like if there's a wreck happening, it was going to happen around you, and it was gonna hinder your race. So, and again, a little bit of that did happen in half number one. But do you think this is some momentum that you can carry next week to Auto Club?
Oh, absolutely. I was feeling pretty confident going into this race a little bit tonight, and wanted some good finishes. Luckily, I got one. And like you mentioned, the past couple months have been absolutely horrible. I don't know I don't know who I made mad or anything like that, but they must have put a curse on me and wanted to make sure I had nothing going for me. But heading into Auto Club, which is one of my favorite tracks actually, and it's one of my good tracks. Pretty wide too, so I'm hoping with the extra space I won't get caught up in any messes, and I can just get a few solid finishes next week.
Yeah, hopefully the luck is now that voodoo curse or whatever was on you has been turned around here with that solid third place finish here in half number two. And we did note that you were really fast in practice. It looked like you were. As it said in your car, you were dropping dimes out there every lap. But just kind of tell us, how hard is it to get around this track? I mean, we've seen some of the best road course racers that I've seen on this surface have a lot of mess ups today. It seems like those breaking points were on a razor's edge.
Oh yeah, this track is completely unforgiving. Not only is it pretty much tight, but a lot of the braking points, it feels like the car wants to bounce up and down, and you definitely get a little bit of wheel spin in some of the corners or some of the other corners that, like the right-hander before under the bridge, the car just wants to unload and you lock up, and it's so easy to get in that tire wall. So, I mean, it's definitely quite the challenge, but I'm always up for a challenge, and it just proved to be one of those road courses that I just happened to be really quick at and got the hang of it real quick. So I'm pretty lucky to have picked it up, and it definitely showed up today.
Yet again, I think as far as driving style is concerned, it's going to be a little bit more relaxed going to Auto Club. Got a nice wide track, and can be nice and smooth. It's going to be, I think, a total shift from this week to next.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more. I'm hoping it's going to be a lot more forgiving and a lot more cleaner. Obviously, Auto Club itself it's still its own different challenge. The track can be a little bit abrasive, and it can chew up your tires if you push too hard or try to get a slide or anything like that. And just hoping that next week it'll just be a little bit easier. Just manage my pace, manage my tires, and even if I have to drop a couple spots, I'm sure I could probably get them back up, and just hoping to keep my nose clean and stay out of trouble next week.
Yeah, best of luck to you next week. Hopefully we'll even talk to you again. Start making this a habit. That'll be quite nice. But before we let you shake off the monkey that's off your back finally, any shout outs you want to give?
I want to shout out to JPBroadcasting and Seth Rose for letting me jump on board and compete in the season. I want to thank Drop Dimes for hopping on for this week as well. I should be running them next week as well, and beautiful looking car by Seth Rose as well. And I'm glad that I was able to put some speed tonight and give him some TV time. Also, shout out to Lock 3D Prints I had a couple times this season, and it felt like I just wanted to also give him some TV time, but I gave him TV time for all the wrong reasons. So shout out to them for coming on board as well. And yeah, just thank you guys for having me over here as well.
Thank you as well for joining us up here in the booth. But good luck to you and for your playoff bid next week at Auto Club. And congratulations on the podium finish here tonight.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, guys.
You bet. That was Gilberto Javier Gomera. And next up, we'll bring in Dallas Myhan, who came up in the second position here in half number 2. And Matthew, take it away.
Yeah, we got Dallas Myhan here, bringing home a solid second place finish. Dallas, it was wild out there tonight. Every time we turned around, somebody else was in the barrier, somebody was spinning. We had guys drifting, we had guys sawing the wheel back and forth to keep it on all fours. Just give me a few words here on how the night was for you, because I think the user experience probably varied greatly.
It was death. I died that second caution. It would not turn. It was. I'm glad I got a top 5. I came to this race winning a top 10, top 15, and got one top 10, one top 5. It was fun.
And you know, consistency seemed a little hard to come by. I noticed by about lap 10 of that second race, a lot of the guys we had finish up front were already non-factors. So to come away to top 10 and a top 5, and you've never touted yourself as a big road course kind of guy, but you really put in some good drives tonight.
Yeah, I think at Spa I had maybe 2 top 15s, and then that's about it. And last season, I don't think I did very well. Last season also, I bought the track Monday, and I did all 4 practice sessions. I was fast all 4 practice sessions. I knew if I could at least, not die in either half, I could at least get top 10, and I got my result I wanted. It was nice to come out with a decent finish tonight.
And you've, of course, this is looking ahead a little bit. You've stated before that you will not be doing a full-time league racing following this season of OSCA. However it ends at the end of the season, is it nice to have a little bit of a highlight, a little bit of a bright spot to look back on? Because I know the season hasn't gone to plan.
Yeah, it's nice to have finished up front against Kian at these road courses. Unfortunate for Nick, got taken out at one point in this race. He was really fast tonight too. Yeah, as long as I can keep running well this season, I'd be really happy. But the goal is just keep getting wins, get there in first place. I know the thing you did for me in Talladega, which he holds over my head now. But yeah, I put the 26 in Victor Lane at some point this year. Me too.
You see Auto Club next week as kind of a chance for that. Do you like your chances there?
I'm okay there. I like it more in the trucks and the Xfinity cars, but all I was doing is put some practice in this week and see how it goes.
Well, Dallas, it was good stuff from you tonight. But before we let you go for the night and go celebrate the second place finish, you have any shout outs and thanks to give out?
Yeah, thanks for Carlos. Obviously not for being here, but he's here every week. Thanks for JPBroadcasting for helping us out tonight for OSCA. SR Designs, Shit V Sports, you and Goody and Vic and Carlos, everyone who's part of this deal. It's been nice. Glad we got broadcasting tonight, and thank you guys.
All right, Dallas. Thanks again. Good running tonight. Thank you for putting on a good show, being a part of it, and coming up here and talking to us. Congratulations again on the second place run.
Yeah, thank you guys.
That was Dallas Myhan bringing it home P2 tonight.
All right, next up, we do have half number 2 winner, Kian Rally. And man, Kian, it seems like there was quite a bit to unpack there for half number 2. You look like you had trouble early. You fell to the back, and well, it looked like about everyone had trouble, and you were the last man standing. And good night overall for the points, especially with Nick and Delgado having a rough night tonight, getting that second and first place runs. But kind of walk us through, unpack that a little bit.
I think it was a perfect night from start to finish.
Love
Honestly,
it.
I don't know where any of the damage on the car came from. I can't tell you guys. But no, I mean, I was bad fast all night. I'm super super happy about that. To come here and win at least one half. I think we definitely could have won both, but it's nothing to gripe about. A second place finish and a first place finish in one night is about as good as it can get. So I mean, I don't know. I'm happy. I don't have a whole lot to complain about. But obviously, it was pretty up and down. I think I ran in every position tonight. Restarted in 20th and drove up to the lead on merit, which was freaking insane. But yeah, I mean, it feels a little bit better to start in the back and earn it. To restart in the back, to start in the back and earn it. But a win is a win either way.
Yeah, and it was yeah, it was no easy feat by any means, and it seemed like for a lot of you guys, a lot of guys who are road course experts out there, you and Delcato, Johnny Eckert had to share his issues as well, and RC Enerson who obviously was very stout in half number one, all had issues because it seemed like especially with these stock cars at Long Beach here tonight, it seemed like quite the challenge. Kind of talk us through it. I mean, it seems like a fun track to race around, but certainly quite the challenge.
Yeah, I want to know real quick. There any shot you guys can get a replay of the pass for the lead up there? That was quite the feat. It actually didn't make it onto the broadcast. I thought it was must see TV, but obviously there's many things going on. But yeah, I mean, this track obviously isn't made for cars of this stature. It's made for open wheel race cars that obviously weigh a lot less. Obviously, I mean, if we were to come here in these things in real life, we'd be taking a bite out of the fountain every time we were on the racetrack. We'd be pulling up pavement everywhere. But I think it's a unique challenge. I like unique challenges, so it's certainly a place I enjoy. Having never really run here before, didn't get a whole lot of practice either. I was surprised at my pace on the long run, especially in the second half. I don't know if Johnny was saving or what, but I ran him down from almost 10 seconds back at some point. So I mean, it's a challenge to hustle these things around here because the walls are so close. There's no elevation change. You can't really see the next corner. You have to kind of trust your instinct. A lot of weird braking zones, a lot of places where it's easy to just lock up and throw yourself a million miles off the racetrack. But yeah, I mean, it's hard, but it's enjoyable.
Yeah, it's certainly put on a good show here tonight as well. But next week we head to Auto Club, and obviously a whole lot different. We stay here in California, but we have a whole different challenge here next week, and especially with the night you had here tonight, it's going to be a tall feat for you to catch Indelicato in the points. But certainly, it's got to help that confidence, that momentum, heading into the playoffs, having capitalizing on a night such as tonight.
Yeah, we're looking more towards the postseason at this point. After the couple of terrible weeks I've had, I don't really think there's a shot I catch him on merit, because if he's out here, we're going to finish within 3 positions of each other one way or another. I need him to wreck. I don't want him to,
Oh,
obviously,
yeah.
but I need him to. But yeah, I mean, my focus has shifted almost entirely on the postseason now. There's a road course in the postseason, a lot of fun stuff there. So I think we can carry this into Auto Club next week. I think that's a good track for me. I think my first OSCA win actually came at Auto Club back in the trucks. I think that's a correct callback. And then it's just a bunch of racetracks. I think it's a bunch of racetracks that suit my driving style all the way down to the finale at Miami. So I'm optimistic. I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting, and as far as you and Nick kind of being on the same team, maybe certainly a lot of stuff could happen between now and Homestead, the final race of the year. But talk about the challenges it will be, kind of racing for a championship against your teammate.
At some point, I guess the teammate gloves come off, but it's it's nice to have someone out there who I can trust. I know I'm racing against. It's awesome to know that I can race safely around the person who I'm going to be racing for a championship, more than likely. So, I mean, there's that, and then the team pictures at the end of it. One of us needs to get it one way or the other, or any of our cars that make the chase. One of our cars needs to get it. So, obviously, damage reduction, no collateral damage, keeping off of one another, which is possible. Hasn't been too much of an issue for the most part. Um, apart from when my brakes went out at Dover. I don't know what that was about. But yeah, we just need to, you know, race each other how we normally would. Keep our wits about us, which shouldn't be a problem, and just be like racing anybody else, just with a little, I know the guy, so a little bit of
Yeah.
extra trust and knowledge about the guy who I'm competing against.
Yeah, it'll certainly be a fun battle to watch once we get into the playoffs in just a couple weeks. But again, Auto Club coming up next week. But with that, again, on this awesome second and first place night, any shout outs you want to give?
Sure. All the guys behind the scenes that run this, even though I think the races tonight were long, I had a great time. Enjoyable, fun racetrack, lots of challenges. Required, fuel stop in there, put some strategy in play. All the guys at the team and at the imaginary race shop, which doesn't exist. We appreciate them. Seth, obviously, for painting our cars, and Johnny and DJ and company for sponsoring me for an entire season. It's awesome to have backing like that to make sure I can race every week. And of course, you guys over at the broadcast. And we have a different broadcaster tonight, so I'm glad that James is able to step up and bring us a broadcast we can watch, because I'm gonna go watch it, of course. And it's just nothing but thanks for everybody that puts on the show, and lots of good and happy thoughts.
Yeah, it's a good and happy thoughts indeed after the night like tonight. But one quick note before we send you off here, we've heard the talk of this race maybe being a little bit too long. Me and Matt had a discussion during the broadcast talking about time wise, as far as what time we're going to get done, roughly about the same time we do about every week. But obviously different challenges with the road courses. What's kind of your input for maybe future references for what some of these league races once they head to road courses?
I think each half could have been maybe 9-10 laps shorter. I think 2 25 lap halves would have been good. But it's a league that puts two shorter races together and makes one long one. So, and obviously the track distance plays into that well. It's only a 2-mile racetrack. It's just a very slow 2-mile racetrack. So, I mean, it's shorter than Sonoma. It's 1.9 miles. Only 11 turns, obviously, but they're so slow. But I like long races. I just think we could have shaved a little bit off, but it isn't like we're out here until midnight or anything. I mean, I'm going to be in bed by 12, ready for my day tomorrow. So, yeah, I mean, it could stand to be a tiny bit shorter, but it's not a massive detriment.
I was curious about the input, so thank you for that. And again, congratulations on the awesome night, and best of luck to you next week at Auto Club.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll hopefully see you there.
You bet. We'll be here waiting for you. Have a good
right,
night.
thanks, guys.
You bet. That was
Appreciate
it. You bet. Keaton Raleigh coming home with the win in half number 2. And with that, Matt, any closing thoughts here after a wild one here at Long Beach?
I get the same feeling that I got last season going into that cutoff race. There's nothing more fun to me than getting to call that cutoff race, because with the varying nights with Chris and Gilberto and Alex Kenton and Kynan Jones, and then you have the prospect of Dusty not even showing up tonight. I mean, it's going to be a totally jumbled up mess of a playoff bubble cut line battle, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, we'll be right here, well, right at 3 Wide TV. Hopefully next week. Hopefully Carlos is back up, but it should be a fun one to watch. And you can tune in same time next week on 3 Wide TV. Like to give a huge shout out to James Parfit. I'm hoping, am I pronouncing your names right, James? Parfit. All right,
Yes,
perfect.
thank you, James.
Yep, thank you, James, for stepping up and filling in tonight and putting up with our craziness. And again, thank you, Vic, for putting on the league. And of course, my co-host there, Matthew, joining us. And we'll have a fun one next week at Auto Club. And for myself, Mike, of course. And until next time, good night now.